You were listening to episode 212 of Mitolife Radio. I am your host, Matt Blackburn, and today I'm interviewing Andy Hnilo. Andy is the founder of Alitura, a next-level skincare company. One of my passions is longevity and life extension, and the area that I probably neglect the most is skincare. I'm very aware of sun exposure. I make sure not to get too much because excess UV light photo ages us. I believe I'm doing all the right things internally to support my skin health. But like dental health, I believe there's an internal-external balance that you have to play with. It's not just one or the other. So if you have your nutrition down, you're sourcing high-quality foods, you're taking high-quality supplements, and then you add on skincare products like Andy sells, that's where you really see massive results. I've actually been using Andy's products for about 5 years now, and as someone that grew up with really sensitive skin, prone to acne breakouts and eczema flare-ups, I always keep my eyes out for innovative solutions. And one thing that caught my eye was Andy's clay mask, which integrates all of these different ingredients, including ascorbic acid, pearl powder, 4-hour grass-fed colostrum, ginseng, various clays, not just one type, Rasul clay, which never heard of, illite clay, calcium bentonite clay, kaolin clay, and kelp powder. So it's a really incredible blend. And I've played around with using apple cider vinegar as the base and just water. And I could say I prefer water because if you get it in your eyes, it's not going to burn. So in honor of recording this show, I actually just finished my first clay mask in a long time with Andy's product. And I just used water. First, I added in 2 heaping tablespoons of his powder, and I used one of those small glass Pyrex jars and mixed it around with a bamboo spoon and then applied it all over my face and neck, let it dry out. It took about 10 to 15 minutes. And then I went in my shower and washed it off with hot water. And when I got out of the shower, my skin was quite dry. And so I applied his Gold Serum. And I feel completely refreshed. You can definitely feel what he's talking about with the circulation. It's a really interesting feeling. And I think it's a lot more than skin health. I think this is benefiting your body systemically when you open up circulation anywhere in the body because you're bringing oxygen and nutrients to tissues that have been starved of those nutrients. So that is the definition of anti-aging, longevity, whatever you want to call it, is keeping your circulation up. And you could utilize skincare products and this clay mask routine as one of your strategies to do that. In this show, Andy shares his journey of getting through a really intense car accident, starting Alitura. He talks about his love for tonic herbs, the health benefits of clays, his diet, his love for Egypt and his experience there. Talks about photobiomodulation, how to use the clay mask properly, how to use his derma roller and the benefits of that, the difference between his Presence cologne and mass-marketed colognes on the market. And then I ask him listener questions, including how to prevent and repair scarring. Is Botox really bad for you? How to protect the skin from the sun? Is retinol good or bad for the skin? Thoughts on topical niacinamide, gua-sha, bee venom, adult acne, oily nose, and much more. So enjoy the show. Here is Andy Hnilo. All right. right. Andy Hnilo, welcome to the show.
Matt, finally doing this. Good to see you, man. How are you?
You too, man. Doing great. It's kind of crazy here. I've had a bug infestation, so I've had people doing retro foam. They drill into the wall and spray foam, and bugs have been coming out of the woodwork. So it's been good to finally take care of that. It's crazy the stuff you deal with as a homeowner, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would feel like you would have some method with ozone to kind of, mitigate that. But
gas them out.
Yeah, gas them out, man.
Yeah. Moving from Southern California to North Idaho, there's a lot more bugs. You're down in Sedona, right? So do you have tarantulas you see often?
Actually, yes. I have a friend that has a pet tarantula, and they, like climbs around on them. That's way too much for me, but they are everywhere out here, as well as the hummingbirds, scorpions, javelinas, which is like a wild boar almost, but apparently not good eating. You have to like devein and gut it and all that. But yeah, it's beautiful out here. I'm in God's country, Sedona, Arizona. I moved here about a month ago from Las Vegas, where previously I was in LA for 15 years, and I'm right where I'm supposed to be. This is home. Like you bought a house here and made a place that really just is synonymous with health and wellness, in my opinion. The ancestral spirit, just the native, man, you just feel it out here everywhere you look, and the people really respect the earth and nature and wellness, and just obviously ingredients and components of what you put into and onto your body just go hand in hand. So yeah, I'm loving it out here, man.
Awesome. Yeah, before we started recording, I was saying I've been there a few times, and the magnetism in the rocks are so intense. The first night I couldn't sleep. I had insomnia because of the heavy magnetic field. And yeah, there's something really interesting about that location. There's these different vortexes around. Mount Shasta is another one we were talking about, right?
Yeah. I mean, you hear that, and if you're open to it, and if you're open-minded, and you just start to feel, obviously it comes down to the individual, but man, I was waking up at 2 or 3, like I just got a full night of sleep, right? And I get out of bed and I'm looking at my phone. It's like 2:22, 3:33, 4:44. It's there's something about this area. I'm directly across from this very sacred mountain called Thunder Mountain. And there's a lot of, allegedly paranormal activity. And it's fun to just, explore the possibilities and just respect. You never know what's out there. I'm big on ancient civilization, and I love watching Gaia. And, when you've experienced certain things individually, which I have, it's fascinating to me. And I know, as you mentioned, Fire in the Sky, one of my favorite movies, grew up on that. And I'm completely open. We don't know. We don't know what we don't know. And it's beautiful to explore when you're curious about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's a good perspective to take on human health as well. That's kind of where I've been coming from the last 13 years. It's just staying open to being wrong, to experimenting with something new, to gaining different perspectives. It's so important, right?
Right. Absolutely. It's just, take what you want and leave the rest. When you have these overarching just opinions, it's only this and only that. And it just, you can't really just mesh together and just get a nice, collective opinion towards, something that is different down to the individual at a cellular level. I mean, it's not just one size fits all in any aspect, in anything, health, wellness, skincare, hair, any product is not just one size fits all. So, I mean, it's fun to explore opinions and just, try things out, experiment, see what works for you. And if it doesn't, that's one thing that you've been, it's like, as I mentioned before, you and, I forget his last name. It's Will something. You guys are my favorite supplement follows on Instagram. I want to thank you for all the help that you so generously share with your following, man. I really mean that, because I bought a lot of supplements that have affected me positively, not only in the weight room, but just recovery, sleep, and just internal cleansing. So it means a lot, man. You're helping a lot of people.
Thanks, Andy. That means a lot. And I appreciate what you've done too. I think your products are are really unique. And I'm sure we'll talk about the Pearl Cleanser. That's been my favorite.
Nice.
I really love that one. And yeah, jumping into it, like when did you start Alitura? How many years ago?
So in 2013 is when, I mean, because I was in a big accident. I was hit and run over by two cars in 2011. I had a compound fracture of my jaw, 7 broken ribs, a collapsed lung, and I was just unrecognizable, no teeth, jaw wired shut. And I was in the entertainment industry, so I had to do my best to just get back, just for personal and professional reasons, even though it was a long shot to get back in the acting game. But I just became obsessed with ingredients because on the store shelves, I couldn't afford, the creams and serums that the surgeons were recommending that I use to counteract the scarring and heal my abrasions. But I had a pre-existing clay mask that had 4 ingredients at the time, and I would add to it based on this morning tonic that I was drinking. I met with Crosby Ware, Sage Dammers, George Lamoureux, and I went to Dragon Herbs, Ron Teagarden, Dragon Herbs. And I would just, with my jaw wired shut, just pick their brain on what I could do. I was a zombie, from the antibiotics and just X-ray, CT scan. It was hard, and I didn't like how I felt. So detoxing and building my blood, circulating that blood, from head to toe, I just became obsessed with what I was putting into and onto my body. So I just, for about a year and a half, people who, good friends of mine who saw me in the ICU would ask what I was doing for my skin. And I would, kind of tinker away with that mask. And I was adding certain ingredients that I would put into my tonic, from the colostrum and pearl powder and American ginseng. I went from spirulina and changed that into organic kelp powder, just because it just didn't mesh well enough. But they all went hand in hand with, the bentonite is something, bentonite, zeolite, are internal cleansing clays that I actually was taking internally as well as topically. And it's one of those things. If you're not comfortable with ingesting it, why would you put it on your skin? Right. It's your largest organ. You absorb whatever you put onto your skin into your bloodstream within, I think it's 24 to 36 seconds. I mean, that's scary when you're rubbing in government recognized carcinogens daily. So, I mean, I just, became ever since I can remember, probably when I was about 18 years old, I became obsessed with labels because I wanted to gain weight for athletics, protein, fat, calories, right? I was wire thin. And then, but in that, grabbing a product and then turning the label, developing those habits and becoming more and more aware of what's inside of your products at an early age like that was huge, because I, just comparing and contrasting results from different products. And I know that's, you're a big fan of that as well. It's just the curiosity behind finding what works and what doesn't. I'm addicted to it. I love, finding the latest and greatest, whether it's, supplements or, a rare ingredient for something that I'm going to include in one of my formulations. But yeah, that, just fine tuning and coming, I call it an album, like just a lot of things didn't make my ingredient deck, and just getting that perfect formulation took a few years, and took a lot of just listening to feedback. But the thing is, I just wanted to perfect the formula. I never had an intention to make this a product. I mean, nobody I didn't have a chemistry degree, and, a lot of people said no. But hopping on Dave Asprey's podcast, I was a Bulletproof ambassador at the time. And I did start drinking coffee in my recovery. And so initially I went on the podcast to discuss how I recovered with the Bulletproof products. And the last 10 minutes, I started, he asked me what I did for my skin, and I just kind of went off on ingredients. I had no intention to talk about skincare on that, but that's really where it all started right there. February 1st, 2014. So we'll be 9 years. Well, technically, June 26th, it'll be 9 years. But man, I love what I do. As you know, it's such an impactful industry when you can, have a positive, impact on someone else's life, whether it's, weight, man, the myriad, diabetic, whether it's weight, whether it's skin, whether it's cystic acne, eczema, you name it, just, providing a healthier alternative through, your own experience, in my case, or in your case as well. I mean, what else would you rather be doing? I wouldn't trade this for anything, man.
I love it, man. Yeah, I grew up with skin issues, acne, eczema, going to tons of chlorinated pools with my friends. We'd sneak into hotel pools and jacuzzis at night, climb the fence and
oh yeah,
and at the backyard pool at my parents' house. And that chlorine really messed me up. I would just itch all night, even if I took a shower. We didn't have a shower filter. Take a chlorine shower to wash off the concentrated chlorine from the swimming pool, and it would kind of help. But as kids, we got hammered, and I wasn't eating, grass-fed, pastured eggs, all the high-quality animal products. My parents were just doing the best they could, what they knew, and once I started learning about natural health, even going like raw vegan started to clean up my skin. I just started vegetable juicing, and it's interesting, like you mentioned, just increasing circulation and that internal cleansing. I know a lot of the carnivore people say that's BS and all you need is like protein to detox, but I think these plant compounds are incredible. Like you mentioned, dragon herbs and jing herbs. That's not a well-known one. I think that's really cool that you were posting their products, I think, on social media the other day, and those are really pure tonic herbs.
Absolutely. I am such a fan of jing herbs. We use a pearl powder, American ginseng, George, John Bonds over there. They're great people. I've been, working with them since I can remember, probably been using their products since 2010. But them and dragon herbs, those are probably my top two for traditional Chinese medicine herbs. What are some of your favorites?
My friend has Shen Blossom. Brandon, he used to work for Vitalis or Thrival, and then branched off and made his own company. And he's a formulation master with those products. And I really like Hoshu Wu, Schizandra, goji berry, any of the anti-parasitics I really like. I'm a huge fan of the tree resins. So he sells a couple different anti-parasitic formulas. And one of them is just, you take like 1 to 3 drops a day, and it's like 2 or 3 different tree resins. Wow. And I've actually harvested spruce and pine resin out here in my local environment, and just chewing on that, you could feel something happening. I mean, the compounds are so intense in resins. Wow. You're like, that's going to kill whatever it touches.
Right. Yeah. The medicine, it's fascinating to find just, that it's comes down to like the Chinese philosophy. I mean, the bitterness. I mean, you ever noticed the bitterness in turmeric, the bitterness in a raw snapped aloe vera leaf, the bitterness in ginger? I mean, the bitter, like that's the medicine. They're like the most medicinal plants. In my opinion, the ones that have a little bite to them. I mean, in
coffee, right?
Coffee as well. The resin for sure, that'll stick around. And also the shilajit. I mean, the bitter compounds. I mean, I just feel like it just, our body, that's our medicine, And
I agree.
Yeah, I love Hoshu Wu, Astragalus, Sistanch, Schizandra is amazing, Ashwagandha, Spirulina, chaga reishi. I mean, the combination of medicinal mushrooms as well, turkey tail, lion's mane. I mean, I just, we could go on and on and on.
I just started brewing my coffee in chaga tea because I'm having issues with my Breville espresso machine. I descaled it and it's still clogging up. So I'm like, whatever, I'm just going to go back to French press. And putting your coffee grounds in brewed chaga tea is incredible. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, no, that's a good call. I usually add post, but maybe I should brew it with. Try it out.
I've tried both. It's definitely stronger brewing the coffee grounds in the chaga. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'll have to try that out.
One of my friends recommended it, but I love it. So, let's see so you got in the accident, you recovered using the herbs, and then you started working with them with their ingredients to add into your products.
Yeah, I just became, obsessed with the recovery every part of the day I had a plan. I didn't want to go out during the day because I didn't want the sun to bake in my scars. Just through sauna, obviously through supplementation. My jaw was wired shut, so I couldn't eat, but just getting as much nutrition through, that morning tonic just really helped me out, and then once I got the wires out, that was fun to start eating again with soft foods, eggs, goat cheese, things like that, and avocado. But I mean, it just really makes you appreciate not only food, but just being able to chew pain-free, smile without your teeth and jaw. I mean, I had a serious bite issues because they had to just, basically just replace my jaw. And, I don't complain too much anymore because it led to a lot. And it's just one of those things, we all go through certain things. You got to bounce back. And this, I found my purpose through that accident. And so just staying the course with making ingredient decks as clean as possible. And then just listening to customers on what they're, as you know, what they're searching for as you're a physical product owner yourself. It's just, you want to always obviously maintain that curiosity and finding out the latest and greatest,
Absolutely. So kind of jumping in, we were talking about bioindividuality a little bit at the beginning. And one thing I noticed in the skincare, the natural skincare sphere is some people say you don't want any polyunsaturated fats, PUFAs as a base of the skincare, which are like seed oils, which I think, we have to define a difference between canola and, safflower oil and soybean oil versus like cold pressed sesame and these other oils that are
pumpkin,
medicinal,
sunflower. Right? I mean, sorry to interrupt, but I mean, I mean, completely different, right? Canola versus pumpkin seed. Sunflower's a little, it does have a good vitamin E content, but yeah, I mean, sorry to interrupt.
No, it's perfect. Yeah,
I agree though. It's, for the carriers, we like to stick with a nice, clean, cold pressed organic olive oil, and then add in based on certain formulations, whether we're looking more of a serum or a lotion. It just comes down to consistency of the emulsion, but yeah, extracting good pure oils. Some of my favorites right now: clary sage, sea buckthorn, lemongrass. I mean, they're let's see, copaiba, andiroba, prakashi, bariti. I mean, a lot of the essential oil, the oils that we get from the Amazon that we cure for the pearl cleanser, it takes, I mean, they have a whole process where they pick, dry, cure, and that process takes 18 months just to get, a raw ingredient that's just a part of a formula. I mean, the technical aspects and just also the timeline for supply chain, it's a lot. It is so much, man. But it's it just comes down to what, how bad you want to make a formula that to your liking, so it's just, it's a lot.
Wow. 18 months. That's wild. Yeah. Cause the reason why I brought that up is like, I know some women have broken out from trying tallow skincare, but when they try PUFA skincare, let's say even olive oil base, they don't break out and their skin actually clears up. So do you think like some women do better on saturated versus unsaturated based on like do you subscribe to like different skin types and having different requirements? And
now I definitely subscribe to when it comes down to the individual based on certain ingredients. Now skin types, it is so tough because our products are for all skin types. I just, when you combine certain elements down to the hormonal level, now as far as tallow, I did almost, we stayed away for that reason. I feel like it does come down to it. I don't think it affects you as much as ingesting, PUFAs, but as far as on top of the skin, topically, I like to stay away from that. But we do use sunflower seed oil as a in our testosterone as opposed to soy. So it's just, I can't say that we completely stay away from it for that reason, but tallow I am very interested in. Emu oil, I'm not sure. I mean, I thought that it may scare away some of the customers, so I just kind of backed out. You know what it was? It wasn't for that reason. Whole Foods was a very big goal of mine, and that was one of the ingredients that at the time they didn't allow in any of their formulations. And so I took it out. It was actually supposed to be in my night cream, beef tallow. So
wow.
yeah, it's a total feel thing for me now. And so I don't, from a, like an informational technical aspect of like coming down to what is in the actual, PUFA ingredient that we're using. I'm not really sure how that affects the skin positively or negatively, but internally for sure, I would absolutely stay away from that. But we're pretty, sunflower seed is about as far as I'll go from that aspect.
Yeah. And I think as long as people aren't using it, like slathering it on and then sunbathing, like if they're using the night cream, they're going to be going to bed. Right. And to me, it makes sense. Like people eating all the, it's just imagine like a carnival food or a festival food, like a Renaissance fair. It's like all this fried garbage. And then you're getting sun hitting those PUFAs that are being incorporated into your cells and just into your skin from eating, a corn dog or I don't know, whatever it is, that you're going to get more sunburned. And I've experienced that being almost albino and living in San Diego for 30 years. I did so many experiments with like the quantum health thing, like, naked sunbathing at solar noon in a cold bath, and like consuming different things. And I noticed the more saturated fats I ate, I would not burn,
Really?
But if I had like chips or a lot of fried food, even the next day, my skin would turn pink twice as fast.
Interesting. So you feel like you're more susceptible to the rays, to the burn rays when you're eating more processed foods, chips, etc., high sodium, sugar, preservatives.
Right.
Yeah.
Even just going out once to a restaurant, which, do here and there. And, usually the tortilla chips are cooked in canola oil or whatever.
Yeah. It all goes hand in hand. I mean, it's all encompassing. I used to be like a 95-5 guy, you know what I mean? 5, take a day off here and there, but I've loosened up a little bit. I feel like when just personally, when I was obsessive about diet and nutrition, skincare, I'm pretty consistent with. I don't experiment too much with that, but with diet, right now I'm more on the carnivore side of things. I used to eat a ton of vegetables, a lot of cruciferous vegetables, sweet potato, beets, avocado, grass-fed, wild meats. But I just, and eggs. I mean, that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. Paleo, keto. I stay away from grains, sugar, alcohol, preservatives. I mean, I do my best to stay as clean as possible and as close to nature as possible. But yeah, leaning more towards the carnivore side of things at the moment. But as you know, it can change here, as we explore.
Yeah, your recipes always made my mouth water. I've been getting into vegetables lately because the last 2 years I haven't been eating a lot of them. And just doing like a good top sirloin steak with, a stir fry with like broccoli and bell pepper and, green beans. And it's so good. I love it. And I've been getting into the Primal Kitchen, like the teriyaki sauce and those sauces.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
So good. I love Primal Kitchen. The ranch, the avocado ranch. So good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. That's good. You're staying away from all that stuff. I'm doing a dry farm wines experiment. I took like 2 or 3 years off, and now I'm doing it. And there's some interesting products actually to mitigate the acetaldehyde. So I'm pre-gaming with like a probiotic and with something called DHM. And there's these compounds you could take that actually mitigate a lot of the effects of the alcohol. Not all of it. You're still going to deplete some minerals and get some dehydration. But as far as the acetaldehyde, that's pretty mitigated. So
really
it's interesting.
In the sulfites and all of that. Actually, no. Dry farm doesn't have. Yeah, they don't have sulfites.
Yeah, I still have somewhat of a reaction. I've been playing with quercetin a lot. I was kind of questioning that, with COVID and stuff. Like, why are they, pushing this so hard? But I started experimenting with it in different forms. Dihydroquercetin, the powdered form, straight from Russia. And almost wanting to come out with it as a product. So that's kind of like a miracle thing. If you have allergies, I just take, a gram or something throughout the day.
Yeah, I took that a few years ago Quercetin. Yeah, quercetin. It's like it's a more potent. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's a very, very potent master antioxidant, right? Like 10 times more potent than vitamin C, right? Or something.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe it's a polyphenol. Big fan of polyphenols.
Right.
And yeah, I wouldn't say it's better than vitamin C, but just different. And I grew up extremely allergic to dust, and so just getting on the quercetin consistently, I've noticed I'm just less stuffy. I'm breathing in a salt chamber too now, so I do the halotherapy to clear up my sinuses, and then I usually use the nasal strip at night to open up my sinuses. Do you do any of that at night, like your mouth tape? Or
I don't do that. My mom does, which is impressive, her nighttime routine. But I don't do any of that. I do have an Essentia mattress, the organic mattress right now that is taking a little bit of taking the time to break in. But it's definitely different from going from a traditional mattress, but it's nice. So I like the fact that I'm sleeping on somewhat. They claim to be an organic mattress. I do some meditation before bed, but those nasal strips. Tell me about those.
So yeah, but I think they're called Breathe Right, Breathe Clear, something like that. Basically, it's a solid piece of plastic that when you tape it on the nose, the plastic kind of on both sides of your nostrils like expands, and it jets out, and it just basically opens up right here, like in the center of your nose, kind of opens that up.
Nice.
And I'm a nose breather throughout the day, but what I've noticed is at night, especially if I, eat the wrong things, or just, sometimes I get stuffy at night. And this, I prefer it to the mouth tape. I feel it works just the same, if not better. Some people combine it. I think that's a little hardcore. They tape their mouth shut and they use the nose strip.
Ooh. That's serious.
I saw Dave Asprey talked about something you actually shove up your nose and it expands, which is really scary. You almost like send a pen up there, and it's like a balloon that you leave in, I believe. Like, I forget if it's overnight or you just leave it in for weeks, and it just keeps your nose expanded, which is scary. That's kind of like reminds me of like Egyptian mummification ritual or something.
Yeah. Man, the things people are coming up with. Oh man, it's nonstop. Love the creativity though.
Yeah. Did you look back at what the ancients were doing? Speaking to the Egyptians, like since I'm into magnetism, I have a lodestone bathtub here. Like I've looked at Cleopatra, and she was bathing in raw milk, which I do. Pouring that in the bath, and there is some pretty interesting ancient skin techniques, right? Not even topical. I mean, they're using magnets and wild stuff.
Yeah. So it's my first product I bought. It was an ancient Egyptian, like it's almost like this salve, and it was just olive oil, royal jelly, bee propolis, honey, beeswax. That's it. And I'm like, what, 5 ingredients or something like that. And ever since that, I think that was probably the inkling into bee products for the skin for me. And then I went to Egypt this past June 2022. Just from a personal standpoint, just a sacred, absolutely unbelievable, just place to be in the world. I went to Saqqara Temple, the pyramid as well, and just absorbed, soaked it all in. Have you ever been to Egypt?
I really want to go because I've watched a lot of documentaries on the pyramids, and actually I used to go to, I don't go anymore to music festivals because it's just sex, drugs, and dubstep now. But I used to go to one called Lightning in a Bottle.
Yep.
And my favorite thing was the talks, because I saw this lady, she was on stage talking about how the pyramids were energy generating machines. They were like technology, basically free energy devices. But she was talking about how there are waterways throughout the pyramids, and they were moving the water through the pyramid in a certain way, which is how it was generating energy, part of the mechanism.
Wow.
There was like an hour and a half where this was the folks. She was talking about how the pyramids make free energy. I can't remember her name, but it was fascinating. I mean, there's so many unknowns with those, right?
Yeah, the best thing that I can recommend is just just planning an afternoon by yourself, being alone with the temple, and just, I mean, speaking to them. I mean, the spirits, I mean, you feel it at a different level. I completely changed. That experience changed me. And as soon as I came back, I was a fan of Gaia beforehand, and Freddie Silva, Mateus, Robert Edwards, who else? I became obsessed with on YouTube, the ancient civilization, the pyramids, the different erosion, the theories on how, the different erosion happened from possible floods, meteors hitting the planet. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of unknown, but it's fascinating, especially once you visit the area and hear and feel what it does to you, man. And just,
did you ever meet Nick Edwards at any of the conferences? He was with Patrick Flanagan. They were kind of working together, and I had never seen him. They were at a lot of those health conferences over the years, and he would have a booth selling pyramids, but there were gold-plated light pyramids, and I bought several over the years, and I would sleep under them. He sold this grid of 9 pyramids with one big one over it that you hang from your ceiling. Wow. I had the wildest dreams because I was sleeping on like 400 pounds of magnets, and I was sandwiched in between the 400 pounds of magnets and these pyramids. And I had pretty vivid dreams.
Really? Wow. Do you still have that going?
I don't. My cat kept tearing it down.
Yeah.
So they thought it was a toy, but
it's fascinating though. Yeah, it's just, just ancient civilization. The spirituality aspect of that is something that just in the past year has become an obsession of mine. And it's also tying into some of my products and branding and ingredients for sure. I picked up 5 ingredients during those travels in Egypt, and also met I loomed with a 9 and 11-year-old, two boys from Egypt. They taught me how to loom like an Egyptian silk rug. Like I got it all on video. I mean, that's an honor. I mean,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was one of the top 5 best moments of my life right there.
Wow. Did the meteorite come out of this, or that was more Sedona?
No, meteorite was, man, that was 2016 when I came up with that idea, just as a mild exfoliant, and just the cosmic aspect of it. It's always been there, Matt. And that was way in the past, but it's interesting how it's led up to where I am right now, and how I'm just so passionate, so interested and fascinated about everything that's in this universe, and the astrology aspect. I mean, it's a lot.
It all ties together for sure. We actually had a question come in. I think now is a good time to ask it.
Yeah.
Like I'm into the technology. I was talking to the guy working here today, and I grew up with GI Joes. I'd have massive battles with my friends, and I had all these action figures and stuff. And so I was just cultivating my imagination my whole childhood, and I feel like I've carried that into adulthood, but transferred it to something practical, which is, toys or practical toys for human health that actually enhance your life. One of them I was introduced to recently in the last year was the Violet Ray by Edgar Casey. And it's often called like the high frequency wand. I don't know if you've seen those where they turn it on. We use it at spas, and it's like a glass, almost like a mushroom head on it. Mm-hmm. And you put it on the skin, and it's glowing purple. It's argon gas. Like, I don't know if you've seen the biocharger with the noble gases that light up. This is the same idea, but a lot more affordable and just directed at skincare. And so I've actually zapped pimples with it. You can put it right on a problem area. And
you feel the little activity right there. It kind of eats it up. And it's purple. right?
Yeah, because it's argon gas, so it actually emits ultraviolet light, but also ozone, and I think negative
Oh,
ions. I mean, there's a lot going on.
yeah, that's wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I used to have a little like a red light and blue light device. Red was, for anti-aging, the photobiomodulation with red light we can touch on, because this wasn't Juve, it was a different company. I think it was New Wave, but they also had a blue light which just completely eats up the bacteria. You would hear it just completely feel any type of like you said, pimple or infection. It just completely mitigates it, eats it right up. But yeah, I haven't heard of that, but that's a heck of a combination of ingredients. I mean, with the light rays and the combining ozone to that, that's so interesting, man. Because I was talking to Scott Nelson introduced me to the man who, he and Scott developed the technology for Juve. And I was going back and forth and potentially creating a device that, combining with, I think it's cold plasma and ozone, a little device to combat acne specifically. He has a technology, and he has a scientist in Germany that it's in the very initial stages of coming up with a very similar. It sounds like very similar device, but it doesn't. Yeah, it involves ozone and plasma. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, this is plasma gas. I like the Saluma Pro. They sell like the flexible face mask. I think it's like $1,300 or $1,400, but you can travel with it, throw in your luggage, and it pulses at 10 hertz. So 10 times a second. And they have different programs on it. So they have like acne, one mode, another mode is like pain reduction, and then another one's like scars. And so it'll use some green or blue, red, and infrared. And I really like that. I have the full body one. So you just basically lay under it naked and it goes over you. And in the winter, since we don't have sun here for 5 months at least, I really hit the light therapy hard and I feel incredible. It's kind of like cheating in this environment. I just charge up, without the sun here.
Yeah. Wait, so you said Saluma, right? Is that
Saluma?
Yeah, CELLUMA?
Yep.
Do they have like the little foldable thing? Oh, nice. Yeah, good call. That's a great brand. Great brand. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They have some good lectures too on, if you search Saluma, they're scientists. They're pretty informative on photobiomodulation, kind of like on the level of Alexander Wunsch. It's incredible what light can do. I mean, I went so deep into the sunbathing and combined with therapy and stuff. I was probably just missing the skincare, but I got charged up. I remember I would just feel high. And this is when I was working at the cannabis dispensary. I was a driver, and it's funny because they probably thought I was high on THC, but I was high on cold therapy and the sunlight, all day.
Yeah. Hey, just side note, dude, your skin looks really good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it does. Looks solid.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I think I just have some blackheads on my nose that have been there since I was a teenager, because I used to get dirt in my face, not wash my face, rub it in or whatever.
Sure.
That's actually a good segue into this question for you. Like, I'm kind of lazy when it comes to skincare routines, and I'm sure a lot of men are like that, where they just wash their face in the shower and that's their entire skincare routine. Yeah. That's basically me, except I added your pearl cleanser. So when I'm in the shower, I'll take a couple pumps, rub that into my face, and that's basically my whole day of skincare. And sometimes I'll remember to use your I'll do the cleanser at night, and then I'll do the night cream right after it and go to bed if I remember. But would you say, what's the priority if there's like lazy men out there that just, would it be the clay mask like once or twice a week, or would it be like a daily?
So, I mean, I get it. It's just, I like to keep it somewhat simple with cleanse, exfoliate, a couple times a week, or just once.
Okay.
Hydrate and repair. So just cleanse in the morning, cleanse before you go to bed. And if you want to exfoliate, I would exfoliate. I do it in the morning because I like to shave, usually preparing for something. That comes down to personal preference, but yeah, just cleanse, exfoliate, hydrate, and repair at night when you're in one position for hours. And I feel like the most important time to just regenerate the skin, heal, hydrate, and condition the skin is, before bed. And so whether it's my products or someone, Osea, Anne-Marie Gianni, May Lindstrom, who are some other kick-ass, the point is the green beauty industry it's getting better. It's getting better. And I just, be very aware of your ingredients. If you're starting off, people can make the claims on the front. The most recent one, I'm sure you'll get a kick out of this. Not going to name the brand, but they had made with 100 natural and then microscopic letters, exfoliants under it, had a big badge. So the people made with 100% natural, they see that big badge on the bottle. Oh, it's good for me. It's exfoliants. The ingredient deck was littered in alcohol. I believe they had some parabens in there. Wow. It was a 3 out of 10 ingredient deck, but it's just, confusing the buyer, kind of manipulating the buyer, in my opinion. You have to really just grab and turn and the thing is with Think Dirty, it's an app out there, Think Dirty. Oh. You can scan the UPC code and they give you a rating 0 to 10 on the cleanliness of the ingredient deck. I highly recommend, that you and your following download that, because it really does make it easier. I don't expect everyone to be, ingredient experts, but what you put into and onto your body, though, it really does speak volumes for just mental clarity, obviously internally with the hormonal health. Just doing something daily as part of your routine. There's a study, I got to get it. Anthony Gustin from Perfect Keto told me that there's a study that women leave the house with over 170 government recognized carcinogens daily. Between, lipstick, hairspray, deodorant, fragrance, you name it, makeup. I really feel like, just doing something like that daily. Laundry detergent, the scent, the fragrance. Fragrance is probably the biggest culprit. That's something you can't get it out of your clothes, right? What do you think it's doing to your skin? At a, the level, at an endocrine level, from like just overall aspect of our health, it's just, I feel like Mother Nature serves us a lot better. We can get better results from that. And I like to stay away from lab made ingredients when possible,
Yeah. I think Burt's Bees is one of those companies. I think when I was younger, I was like, wow, this is a super clean brand. And then you look at the ingredients, you're like, whoa, this is not good stuff.
That's a founder story that I love. I just, I think they got acquired by Clorox.
Wow.
And sometimes the ingredient decks change a little bit. However, when he started it, you are right though, man. Years ago, that was one of my first products too, I believe. They kept it extremely simple and clean. I think, down to like 3 or 4 ingredients. And then you see like the coconut oil get traded out for canola or something. I forget what it was, but it was something shocking. That was disappointing, but it happens.
Yeah. Well, I love the clay mask. I think my last one I've done is, 4 or 5 years ago. I'm sure I'll be inspired after this to get back to it. And I was mixing yours with Bragg's apple cider vinegar. Mm-hmm. And I had like a dedicated glass bowl just for your mask. And I would mix that together. And I forget where I read that, or maybe you shared that vinegar had a different benefit. Maybe you can go into that. And I think since then I was just kind of afraid of clogging the drains, especially when I used to rent. But that's not really an issue, right? You're not likely to clog your like shower drains.
No. If you're an avid user, which I am, I would recommend maybe just once a year taking a gallon or just a little bleach in the sink drains. But yeah, we have our product in a lot of med spas, back bars. So we haven't gotten yelled at yet. But it's interesting. When I first started this, that was a big fear of mine, because I must have had a clogged up sink at the apartment that I was living in at the time, because that was a serious issue or a fear of mine of just like, becoming complicated with rinsing off and stuff like that, because it does, theoretically could have some damage to the pipes. But yeah, as you mentioned, my favorite things to mix, the clay mask. And by the way, you haven't done one in 5 years. It's a pretty special product. I mean, the combination of the clays and then also the mother bacteria or is it a bacteria? The mother bacteria in the apple cider vinegar. It for some reason that activates the properties of the bentonite clay.
Wow.
And I feel like the mineral capacity in the other clays as well. And it has a toning aspect, which also acts as like an astringent to the skin and mitigates some pore sizing. But the clay mask itself is the combination of those ingredients is extremely powerful. I mean,
how often do you do it?
I'm probably five times a week, but wow. I like to recommend 1 to 3, just because, I mean, I've been doing this for, I've been doing the clay mask seriously since I was 21 and I'm 41, about to be 42. So half my life, right? So I feel like and then also, I'm not trying to like pump my product, but the formula, it's not as drying and harsh and is intense as like a typical 1 ingredient clay mask. Now the pearl powder, the colostrum, the combination of the different essential oils that you put in there, and just the light silky aspect of the particle sizing of the clays, for whatever reason, it's this one, it is completely different. And so I'm able to do it, and then just make sure you follow up and moisturize. But yeah, I mean, just from a pulling aspect of just releasing congestion around the nasal area, I feel like that'll, I'm interested to see what you think about that. But it is, it's, without tooting my own horn, that's the one product I wouldn't leave the house without.
That's awesome. Do you have a dedicated bowl that you use for it? Because I'm trying to just create a little protocol around it. Right?
I do.
Is it like copper or gold or?
No, it's onyx, dude. It's onyx. It's onyx, and I use a selenite wand to mix it.
Wow.
Yeah, an onyx bowl. But I want to make something and have it on the site. I'd like to have a crystal bowl and a crystal wand and just get something sacred during that experience, because it's the definition of self-care. If you only do it once a week, that's fine. I mean, I feel like you're going to get better benefits if you do it, once, twice, 3 times. It just, because, you're generating all this circulation of stagnant capillaries. And then, it usually sticks around for about 24 hours.
Wow.
But then you stay consistent with that. It's just, you're keeping that nice flush, the blood flowing. You're getting those stagnant capillaries underneath the eyes, kind of mitigating the dark circles over time. I just, I could go on that, but it's a very effective product. And you can just add your favorite essential oils, kind of counteract some of the aroma from apple cider vinegar and kelp powder, which can be a little earthy to some, but we're all about performance here. So
I like the earthy. Yeah. And what do you say, like practical uses before you shower? So that way you can just get in the shower and wash it off.
Absolutely. Yeah. Routine. Sure. You'll love this. Cold plunge. A little, and then like a little cold shower, just rinse off, some of the chlorine. Coffee, talk to mom, get some sunlight, clay mask, rinse, shave, boom. I mean, that's the start of the day every day for me,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Are you still doing the Bulletproof coffee or using like MCT and
stuff? I mean, I'm improvising. I'm not, I'm just, I'm using this German butter actually right now, and just coconut oil.
I love that German, but I bought it in bulk recently from the Wise Traditions website. I bought like 2 boxes, and since outdoor, it's been like 30 degrees. I just keep them outside. I have like 50 bars of that German butter here.
It's so good. Yeah, it's different. Yeah. I do, French press. Nice. I do, low lion's mane, turkey tail reishi, cacao powder, gelatinized maca, coconut oil, coconut butter, and a little stevia, cayenne pepper. I mean, it's intense. Yeah.
Wow.
But it's good though. Yeah. It sets the tone.
I haven't heard of cayenne in coffee. That's hardcore.
It's a little thermogenic fat burner there in the morning. Kickstart the day. It almost tastes like a Mexican hot chocolate a little bit.
Wow. Yeah. Back when I was strict raw vegan and I was vegetable juicing like 4 times a week, I was making the lemon ginger blast, and it was apple, celery, was it apple, celery, habanero? There's a whole habanero pepper in it.
Wow.
And we had a parrot. Senegal is when I was living with my parents, and they were afraid the parrot was going to die, so they took it outside because the smell was just filling the house from that habanero pepper.
Oh no, it's potent. That is potent. Wash your hands after dealing with that, or wear gloves. Wear gloves. The oils in that will just stick around for a while.
Talk about circulation. Yeah, I thought my dad likes spicy. Maybe it's in my genes, and I'll like it someday, but I'm still a mild guy. I don't know.
Hey, to each their own. Yeah,
that's cool though. Yeah, I've seen you diving into your pool, cold plunge. That's impressive. I have to get back to it. I like 57, like a really tight temperature, because I've gone down to 43 Fahrenheit. I didn't notice any difference in how I made actually less of a brain boost. I felt the best when it was like 57 to 60 Fahrenheit. That was like my sweet spot.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is, I'm not really, my mom's a little worried because I mean, literally the pool freezes over. It is unbelievable how cold it is out here in Arizona right now. I mean, it's in the 20s. So
wow.
It freezes over. You got to, smash the hole in the pool and get in there a little bit. But just anything to shock the system, kind of start your day off a little uncomfortable, something that sucks, and then everything's downhill from there.
I've seen you do the cannonball. Have you ever like broken through the ice? Like didn't know there was ice there?
Yeah, I did. I came up with some cuts actually.
Wow.
Surprised about that. Yeah, but gonna be going in feet first from here on out. If this climate ever warms up, but yeah, it's important though. Between that, ideally, I plan to get a sauna, whether either one of those barrel saunas, but or something just right in my little outdoor area, just to do the cold hot, just kind of switch it up, shock the system a little bit. I think that's ideal. I just feel electric after doing something like that. But yeah, just another thing, that I think you'll get a kick out of it is when you let the clay mask completely dry. You have a sauna, right?
Mm-hmm.
So hop in the sauna once it's completely dry and do like these exaggerated facial exercises. I don't know if you're open to using my derma roller, but do you, some people don't like instruments or anything like that.
I think I just got one. I actually got your shaver, which I want to talk about too.
Yeah.
Because I don't shave. I mean, I feel like I would cut myself. I need to watch some YouTube videos or something on that. I just do the close shave, but I don't do as close as you.
Yeah, we have it was just a personal like passion project because I love a good shave. Yeah. And our razor's brass, so it's heavyweight. Nice. It's a single edge, so you can add your own fresh blades. There was that. I got so excited about this product that I kind of wanted to kind of compete against Dollar Shave Club as far as like better on the environment. You're not throwing away these plastic, you're just keeping one brass razor that you can keep for your life. And then just buying the blades as you need them. I mean, technically it would come down to a little bit cheaper than Dollar Shave Club, I believe, and then also better on the environment. But I mean, and you just get just a crystal clear shave like glass every time. So
have you heard with the pyramids, do they keep the razor sharp longer? That was one thing Nick Edwards talked about. You could do this experiment. If you buy like a Nubian pyramid, the pyramids you could buy to put on your counter or whatever.
Right.
If you put a blade in there, supposedly it'll stay sharp twice as long.
What?
I don't know how it works, but that's a fun experiment you could try.
Yeah. I'll have to look into that. I hadn't heard that before, but
sorry, I broke your thing. So hop in the sauna once the clay mask is dry, make exaggerated facial expressions, and then you're going to the derma roller.
Well, I was saying the whole routine, doing a derma roller, applying the clay mask, letting it completely dry in front of the Juve light, and then hopping in for like 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes to break it out from the inside. So those pores are opening up from the heat. And then you're kind of like, I'm telling you, that is like the Ferrari treatment of the clay mask. It's quite a few steps, but considering that you have everything at your placement, it really is a day-changing experience. It really is. Yeah.
Well, and I have a lake too, and the dock is right in front of the sauna. And so in the summer, that'd be a good routine to just go in the sauna and then jump in the cold water, which it stays pretty cold throughout the year.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Just completely renewed.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a big thing that I like to do in combination with I'm big on the brain tap, little meditation as well. Just really doing my best to slow down a lot in my life. You know what I mean? From meditation and breath work, it's really helped me out, man. Last year was, it was a grind. You know how it is as a business owner, man. It's tough for me to, click the off button. You know what I mean? So,
well, I feel like the dial got turned up on this planet the last couple of years, and it wasn't, I don't know, COVID or something, but people seem a lot angrier the last couple of years, just like losing their mind, just like more on edge. I mean, I've noticed it a lot on social media, just like people, take offense to things easier, more easily triggered, just not really as centered and grounded. So you have a good point of just doing these grounding and centering practices more while this chaos is going on. Right.
Yeah. It's, I completely agree with that. Something has changed. It's not going to do my best. Yeah, it's not going to bring me down. But I mean, just as far as like the universal shift in consciousness, it's very apparent. And staying grounded and doing exercises just to make me, stay out of all that is needed, because it's frustrating sometimes. You know what I mean? Especially traveling abroad, man. The collective opinion, at least when I was traveling, on Americans was I experienced that, and COVID may have had something to do with it. Politics may have had something to do with it. Who knows? But something has changed. But it's it's up to us, just to not me and you, but all of us in this world, just to be above that, rise above that, and just love is everything. That's all that matters to me, and just being respectful. Also, but having walking that fine razor's edge of just not being docile, still standing up for yourself. It's an interesting time that we are living in right now. That's for sure.
I love it. Yeah. I feel better just traveling around the States, and I've barely traveled. I'm kind of a homebody, like my whole family is, but just being in the Pacific Northwest, it's so beautiful. I've never been to a hot spring in my life, and I'm in the perfect environment to start doing that.
Oh, wow.
I guess just avoid the sulfur ones, right? Is what I hear.
Well, so that's the thing. I go towards the sulfur.
Wow.
But I could be wrong with that. Don't wear silver when you go in there, by the way. It'll oxidize it. But that's interesting. I thought because I grew up supplementing with MSM, and then I stopped it a little bit. And then I'm kind of debating on whether or not to get back into that. But I just felt like the sulfur component was good for me. And now
I think it's just the rotting egg smell. It's not, I'm sure there's health benefits, but you have to plug your nose or something a lot.
Oh yeah, you definitely, the smell is, that'll stick around for a few days. Don't want to, you have a date that night, definitely don't hit the sulfur laced sauna. But it's amazing.
Have you done any? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Andy.
No, I mean, there's just so many ways between body weight exercises, between just the natural elements, pretty much wherever you live. If there's not sunlight, I'm sure there's a lot of good, cold thermogenesis that you can get those endorphins running. I mean, it's exciting, man, and a lot of good new things are coming to light of how to just achieve and elongate, our longevity, basically. So
yeah, it's incredible how good we can feel. I'm sure you could relate just over the years if you keep just adding on these things over the years, and you just start to feel better and better and better. And it's incredible. I grew up as a video gamer and almost got lost in that for years when I started college, and then I learned about life, and this is just so much more fun. Real life. It's like you can really level up the human body to an infinite degree.
Yeah. And respect to you. You definitely have, man. I mean, I'm not just saying that. I remember meeting you, 2014, I believe.
I think so.
The Bulletproof conference. Yeah. Just respect though. I mean, you're extremely consistent. I really admire people that, walk the talk, and
appreciate that.
It's you.
Yeah. Likewise. It's been really cool to see you grow over the years. And I wanted to circle back to the derma rollers. That's something that's kind of intimidating to me that you sell, but I know that you have different grades to it, right? Or there's like beginner, intermediate, and advanced.
Yeah. So we have 3 different sizes: 0.25, 0.5, and 1 mil. And 1 mil, that's the one that I use right now. They have these little titanium micro needles that you just roll in tiny X's and plus signs all over the target areas: forehead, neck, obviously face, décolleté area. And it creates these tiny little pathways to just allow the ingredients to penetrate the epidermis and get down and sink in further to the skin, effectively, just getting the most out of your products. And also on top of that, you're creating these tiny little micro wounds that effectively, signal to your body to repair itself, creating a thicker collagen layer over time. And then it does brighten up the area a little bit. So if you're using a derma roller for the first time, I would probably do it at night first, and then if you're not going to use a clay mask, I would definitely put something like a Gold Serum or night cream on it right after, just to allow those ingredients to sink in further. It's a really pretty incredible little tool and device for your skincare. I can't believe some companies are using plastic derma rollers, but it's just make sure you're getting a good quality, preferably titanium or stainless steel derma roller, and then just work your way up, because that's probably my favorite tool right now. Just I do that once or twice a week. I don't do it every time I do the clay mask, but that's another way to really turn up the clay mask experience. Yeah,
that's awesome. I wonder if maybe someday you could do like quartz or some crystal instead of titanium. It'd probably be really hard to make.
It's the Tucson Gem Show is going on right now, and I wanted to use like a quartz exfoliant. I wanted to pulverize, ultraventilate, and like just get a silk-like exfoliant.
Wow.
Selenite or some, but something also have a sacred spiritual aspect to it. But that's next, dude. I mean, if it's meteorite scrub, it can't get more expensive than than the actual ground meteorite powder. So yeah, I just want to find a way to just go a little outside of the box with our formulations, but also make them extremely effective. And you want to create an experience while using them. You want to have it just part of the routine, a daily routine for as many people as possible. Because I know what it does for me. It's just how I feel ready to go in any part of my life, personally and professionally. Yeah, it's just important to have a routine.
Right. Yeah, I'm inspired to start integrating it. I do baths at least 2 or 3 times a week, because I got like 1,000 pounds of lodestones from a mine in Utah, and then we shaved it down and then aligned them all to true north. So they're all pointed north.
Wow.
And then it's all grounded. And then in the grout between them, I mixed in shungite powder and magnetite powder. And then it's grounded to a rod in the earth.
Wow.
And so maybe using your clay mask in there would be an experience.
That'd be an honor to be included in that. That's next level, man. I'd have to see a picture of that setup.
Yeah.
Shungite, that's legit. That's smart, man.
Yeah, and put some pyrite too in the walls. So I was going to EMF shield it, but now I'm questioning EMF shielding. I'm not a fan anymore, because you don't really want to block the Earth's magnetism. And they've done studies. I've been getting back into sleeping on magnets, and they've done studies where they put people in like a mu cage. It's called. It was like a 7x7x7 complete Faraday cage where the Earth's magnetism couldn't get in at all. And they started crying. They started having heart palpitations. They had to get out after a few minutes because the people almost died.
Wow.
So yeah, we're constantly getting bathed in the Earth's frequencies, even if we're not grounded. People don't realize that.
Yeah.
It's just the magnetism coming up.
Man, you are an expert. That's why I love your posts, man. You learn something new every day, man. That's
well, you're getting supercharged there. You're getting way more magnetism right now than I am.
There's something about it. I'm telling you, man.
Do you go on barefoot walks like around there? Or?
I do. Yeah, I do. I think it's there's so many nerve endings on the bottom. That's the feet. It's just. There's something so interesting about, I was watching a Rogan podcast yesterday, and you ever notice they were talking about a tribe. I forget where it was, but they're all barefoot, but their feet are spread out. Their toes are just like that, right?
Wow.
Like, but I wonder what that does to, speed, what I mean? That foot speed, sprinting, all that, because, our shoes can, they just point it all in. We don't have those spread out. So I don't know. I've been more into that books, but reflexology and there's just our extremities are extremely important, and they're so sensitive with nerve endings. I don't think about that stuff all the time, but yeah, I do go on barefoot walks. It's just as part of a grounding practice.
I have to get back to the 5-finger toe shoes, because I used to wear those to all the health conferences, and I think I was one of the few. And if you get stepped on, like if you're in a crowd of people and it's busy, or a conference, how you have to kind of like push through people, I would get my foot stepped on. It would really hurt when there's a boot going on your toe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But as far as when you're home and about, I actually grounded them. So I got the Earthling product you can buy. I mean, you could just go barefoot, but I have my chicken's free range. There's deer poop. I don't want to step in chicken poop, and elk poop. I mean, there's a lot of animals around here.
Oh yeah.
So staying grounded, but having some foot cover is kind of my strategy up here. But you're right. Yeah, the toes, it's not natural to have them in a cast, essentially. Right.
Yeah, those Vibrams, the Vibrams. Yeah, those were. I used to wear those as well. Yeah, and I'm seeing, I'm feeling my toes kind of curl in, and I don't want that. I want to have them as primal as possible.
Yeah, so, maybe you could start selling have you ever done the toe splitter things like the?
I do that manually with my hand.
Okay.
I mean, but no, I know what you're talking about. I've got a pedicure before, so yeah, that's maybe we can find another use for that device.
Nice. Yeah, I've never had a pedicure, but I've been getting back into massage, so I got one of those. I got a Brio Sport massage chair recently. I don't know if you saw my post. It's like the full body massage chair, where you kick back in zero gravity, and then it hits every area. Pretty incredible.
Oh man,
talk about
that's
circulation.
A good investment. Really? Yeah. Oh, you see a big improvement, huh?
Oh yeah. Because I living out here, I have to drive pretty good distance to get a massage, and I think body work's one of the most underrated things. People wait till they're injured, but it's a preventative thing, right? Like you shouldn't. It is a foundational part of health to get body work, I think so.
Absolutely. You said it's Brio
Sport. Yeah. And it was one of the more affordable ones, because I know they go up to $30,000, and I was considering those, but I'm like, I'll just start at, the average is around 6 or 7, and it's pretty thorough. And even on medium, I get worked. I haven't tried the high setting yet.
Wow. Yeah. No, that's a very good investment.
Yeah.
Should look into that. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, it's funny you mentioned Perfect Keto. I think I tried their do they have beta hydroxybutyrate? I think they were one of the first to sell those. Am I thinking of the right company? It was like a BHB powder, like a ketone.
Did they?
Or are they just MCT and collagen mostly?
I think they were that. I think HVMN is
okay. That's the exogenous ketone shots. I have
think
those.
So. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think of those? I can't.
Oh, I've been going hard on the experimentation.
Oh yeah.
So I've been heavy into ketosis research for the last month and a half, 2 months, and been trying a lot of different products as far as sweeteners. Been playing with allulose a lot, blended with monk fruit and stevia. Some really cool keto products out there that make it a lot easier, because I like sweet, but I don't want to get the crazy glucose spikes, and I want to keep my grams at a certain level. But yeah, as far as the HVMN shots, there's mixed thoughts on that, because you want your body to make its own ketones from burning its own fat, right? But if you take it exogenously, the theory, and I think it is a theory at this point, I haven't seen hard research on it. The theory is, since you're supplying it exogenously, your body will not make its own ketones endogenously. So you're basically giving, so essentially you won't burn fat if you take them. But I challenge that, because taking melatonin orally, Doris Lowe has obliterated that theory that if you take melatonin, your body will stop making it. You actually make more. Same thing with progesterone. If you take progesterone, your body will actually upregulate its own endogenous production, which is so counterintuitive, right? You would think taking an exogenous hormone or something your body makes, but the same thing with enzymes. I sell digestive enzymes. Your pancreas doesn't make less enzymes because you're taking my digestitol. It does, so it's not as cut and dry. That's what I find. People like make these assumptions and leaps in the nutrition field, especially with supplementation, where we don't really know, and it's not just as simple as that. So I don't know. To answer your question shortly, I've been taking them mostly when I need a boost. If I'm driving for 3-4 hours in the day, pre-interview, I didn't take it this time, but they say max out at 3 a day. But the first time we drank it, I mean, I was buzzing. Like it went straight to my brain and I felt an immediate clarity. And I have a family member with epilepsy, and they had an immediate boost in clarity, even with pharmaceutical drugs in their system and stuff. So huge fan if you have a family member with epilepsy. I mean, that's what keto was designed for, right? And neurodegeneration runs in my family with my genetics. And so I'm just hyper brain focused. I'm just like, let's stave off Alzheimer's and dementia and all these issues, because that's the most depressing thing. We've all seen the movies, right? The Notebook, and where you can't recognize their loved ones, and that's like the worst way to go. Right?
It's heartbreaking, man. My mother experienced that with my grandma, her mother, and my mom has Parkinson's right now. I mean, but she's great. She's healthy. It's an absolute, it's very important to me to brain, to heal her brain. I'm fascinated with everything right now. And by all means, do you have any recommendations for Parkinson's? I will, definitely subscribe to that.
Nicotine. I mean, I don't want to tell her to smoke like Marlboro. But I have a humidor right here, and it's stocked with cigars and tobacco. And I think it's more than nicotine, but the research has been done on nicotine for Parkinson's, and a lot of other conditions. What was it? Parkinson's and Huntington's disease, I believe, and Alzheimer's and dementia. And I think it's more of a masculine, more of a male thing to me, like smoking cigars and pipes and stuff. But you can mitigate that oxidative stress with vitamin C and vitamin E. And if you want to do glutathione, liposome or whatever. But yeah, as far as a woman, I mean, she can do nicotine lozenges. I think there's brands now. Was it Lucy? And there's I've done the nicotine patch. I didn't feel that, but I think nicotine is worth a shot. I mean, I think Prescriptions actually puts it in their speedball formula with methylene blue. So it's like nicotine, caffeine, CBD, and methylene blue together. And there's a little low dose. It doesn't take much. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Prescriptions.
It's their first product. And that's I would say just take that after food, because it's definitely a speedball formula. It's gotten me too amped up before. So
okay. Yeah, I did mention nicotine to her, and there's such a stigma with nicotine. Right. You know what I mean? And I'm a fan, a huge fan, and because of the cognitive benefits. I mean, it's interesting. I think they found out about that by doing research on cigarettes, and they, as a byproduct of that study, they found out how beneficial nicotine was. Right?
Oh yeah. I was actually talking to the guys here this morning. Because I was just sharing health stuff with them. They were fascinated. And I was telling the one guy I grew tobacco at a pyramid. I grew a Nicotiana rustica in a pyramid in Chula Vista, San Diego. Yeah, it was kind of a funny environment. It was like the ghetto, and I have this big gold Nubian pyramid in the backyard.
Oh, man.
It was one you could sit in. It was huge. And I had about 7 or 8 tobacco plants growing. And I don't know if I did it completely right, but I did it right enough, apparently, where I felt it after I took it, because the leaves didn't get huge. Like you see, tobacco leaves are huge. I only got maybe, I don't know, 6 inches, something like that. but I cooked it on the stove in lemon juice to extract it for several hours, and then mixed in cacao paste. Then I put shilajit resin.
Wow.
I put some honey, and then I just did it like a little chew. And my friend David said, it's like, I feel like I meditated for 30 minutes just when he put a little tiny bit in the corner of his gums, you know?
Wow.
So that's called ambil. Supposedly they make that in South America. But there's so many different ways to take tobacco. You don't have to just smoke it, but I think it gets kind of dangerous because it's super deadly if you overdose on nicotine. You know, it's an insecticide. So, but yeah, really big into the anti-parasitics, and to me, I think that's the root cause. I mean, you were talking about women's products earlier with lipstick and perfumes and stuff, and I remember hearing years ago Robert Cassar talking about like lead in lipstick and all the different mercury and cadmium that they sneak into these, or not sneak in. I mean, they're cutting the product. Basically, they're using cheap ingredients, right, to make a bigger profit. But I mean, heavy metal poisoning, I think that's a big cause of a lot of these problems.
Absolutely. Heavy metals, artificial fragrances, artificial colors, the fillers that don't have to be there, the emulsifying agents. I mean, it's just nonstop. You're seeing, I can't name any off the top of my head right now, but there are some really solid, organic makeup brands that are starting to make a little bit of a push, and some pretty good performing, natural products as alternatives. But you know how, people fall in love with what they love. And I just, it's tough to switch, off that product, especially with something they've been doing or using their whole life, or, as far as appearance, whether it's hairspray or makeup or something like that. But it's something that you're applying daily. It's,
I love your cologne, the Presence, because years ago, I think it was my college graduation, my friends took me to, it was like Macy's or JCPenney, because we ate at the mall to celebrate, like True Food Kitchen or something, and they bought me my first, it was like $400 or $500 Creed, and now I found a company that supposedly makes those for $50, and it's like the same ingredients, and they're kind of showing if there's this crazy hundreds of dollar markup on the Creed cologne. And I'm not an affiliate with them or anything, so I'm not tied to them. I could say they do smell amazing, but yours, I might just throw those out and just switch to yours, because it seems a lot more pure. Even just holding it, I'm like, this is a way better product than this thing you could buy at the mall for $500.
Yeah, I mean, we're using organic alcohol, water, and a blend of oil, a fragrance oil blend that is synthetic, but we don't have any mineral oil, any phthalates, anything, parabens, any of that harsh, toxic, the ingredients that are just, if it's trace amounts, it's in so much, commonly located in so many formulas and big brand fragrances. That's easily the biggest culprit. Up there with, the different blends of alcohols. I mean, sometimes you'll see 3 or 4 different kinds of alcohol in a formula, glycerin, byproducts of petroleum, crude oil. It's just, I mean, you really have to just find the derivatives of where your ingredients come from. And then
were you wearing those crappy colognes years ago? Like, absolutely.
I mean, I grew up. I mean, that's why I'm so proud of Presence. Is I collected fragrances growing up. Wow. Aqua di Gio, CK1, Eternity, all that Obsession. Yeah, it was just. But the thing is, I mean, just with the technology these days, you can make anything smell exactly like how you can make a leather synthetic. You can make popcorn candy, cotton candy. I mean, it's just, you can do quite a bit with fragrance these days. And the messed up thing is you can write natural fragrance, and there aren't any real government, FDA exclusions for that. So it's something that people really, because you can get such a beautiful aroma through extracts, essential oils, absolutes. That's what I prefer, just the floral elements from plants. And certain notes that we got, but we didn't have to use any of the harsh toxic chemicals to get that. And so that's that's where I feel like we stand out. I'm glad you like. I mean, that's a very popular product of ours. Matter of fact, we ran out of the large 100 ml bottles, and so I got inspired by my trip to Egypt. So we're making it just like the Giza pyramid with the little silver top, silver bottom. So it's going to be the same, packaging element to it, but yeah, in a pyramid. So that's why it's out of stock right now. So
wow, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Do you remember Axe spray? I used that for a short amount of time.
Oh man. Yeah, definitely.
Talk about getting gassed, right?
Ooh, yeah, seriously. Yeah, it's bad, man. I mean, I'm so sensitive to just fragrances in general. It does give me like a noticeable headache hopping out of a 5-minute lift ride, 10-minute lift ride or whatever. So,
right.
How they have their lift cologne, it's like Abercrombie in there. I mean, it just really gives me a noticeable headache every single time. And so you can only imagine what that's doing to your internal organs, just or your endocrine system, breathing that in, having that so close, and then just, penetrating your pores. It's just something that I have to stay away from, and highly advise, against.
I wonder if a good strategy, if something's a little cleaner, just spraying it on your clothes instead of on your skin. Because I can imagine something like Axe, that's just poison in any regard, but maybe there's something that's a little cleaner where you could just spray it on the clothes, so at least it's not soaking into your pores.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure the clothes will provide a little small layer of protection, but yeah, man, I would ditch them altogether and create your own. I mean, the DIY aspect of that's all I got involved in it, really. Just, bergamot, try sandalwood. You know what I mean? I mean, there are so many. Yeah, you could just getting the essential oil component and just kind of creating your own. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. I love it. So we covered the clay mask, we got Pro Cleanser, got the Derma Roller, the Presence. I wanted to talk about like the Gold Serum and the Night Cream. Are those meant to be used together?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. The Gold Serum, I mean, I originally made a shaving serum, right? Because, to go with my razor, I love a good shave. But I mean, that was, I got emails from women who were stealing the shaving serum from their husbands going, this is so much more than a shaving serum. And so what I did is I pulled it back, added 5 active ingredients. We added copper peptide, marine collagen, CoQ10, astaxanthin, and marine collagen, and a base of the organic botanicals that we had, and still maintained the 95%. No, we were at 96, went down to 95% organic. But I mean, it's like combining the best with organic botanicals and cutting edge anti-aging skin science. You don't see that too often. It's usually one or the other. I just feel like when you combine clean elements to that, like copper peptide, that's amazing for you. Marine collagen. I mean, these are the astaxanthin, CoQ10. These are all very good, naturally sourced ingredients. So I felt like they would work together better than some, just like a harsh retinol or something like that. We're using plant-derived vitamin A instead of that. It's organic alfalfa derived that has similar benefits without the harsh sun sensitivity or irritation that comes with that. I would say that's our most popular products right now. And then the night cream at night, it's a special. We have 2 different plant-derived stem cells. Plant-derived stem cells have just plants in general have an amazing ability of just repairing themselves. We have Edelweiss and Gardenia stem cells, and we have a little CoQ10, first 4-hour milking grass-fed colostrum, and K-factor 60 Manuka honey and vegan hyaluronic acid. So it's like the same thing. We have organic, natural plant-derived components, and then also adding in, good, cutting edge, heavily researched ingredients like hyaluronic acid. I don't mind using those. You know what I mean? Like in our meteorite scrub, like I was mentioning to you, we're adding, mandelic acid, hyaluronic acid, fulvic acid, and lactic acid in there. But they're to maintain, to invigorate your body's natural cell turnover process during post exfoliating with that. It adds another element to the collagen synthesis whole process of exfoliating. I just feel like the acids will help with that, as opposed to just like a harsh exfoliant. So that's what I'm doing more than like the, because a lot of people like to, that with the harsh scrubs, you like to feel that. We like to have more of a gentle scrub and let the acids do the work, and then, yeah, it's wait till you try this, man. Wait till you feel your hands after it's smoothing on your face. I mean, it's just, yeah, we're just down in the packaging right now, but the formula has been done for 2 years.
Wow. I love it. Yeah. I've used the night cream and the Gold Serum several times at night before bed, and they smell incredible. And I didn't recognize the plant stem cells, Edelweiss, you said, and I just looked it up, and there's a study that showed a 15% wrinkle depth reduction after just 20 days of like a 1% Edelweiss stem cell topical application. That's incredible.
Yes. Wow. It's it got the silver medal award for like best anti-aging skin, but it's EcoCert approved. Wow. And it's incredible. That's originally, because when I was first making this, I was like melting down cacao butter, beeswax, sea buckthorn oil, and like a little cast iron pan. And I still have that original one. I hope I do, at least from the move, but it was obviously chunky, but that's how it was just a paste, like wow. Way back in like the primitive days of the clay mask. It was just something that I was just breaking it down to the basics, pulling out as much as I could with something as nutrient mineral rich as a clay mask, nutrient dense. I was just trying to get as much into my system, nutrient wise and vitamin wise, and just overall, feed my system from, my skin from the inside out, basically. But it just, and then I'd follow up with that paste, which is now the night cream. Obviously, we got it professionally formulated and manufactured. But that's how it all started out. Just doing your research, finding out, very similar to what you do. I mean, it's just, I'm not, especially with the sourcing component, when you meet with co-packers, green tea I want to have a story behind every one of my ingredients. You know what I mean? When you when I was first trying to find a co-packer for my clay mask, I mean, when you find, manufacturers, it's so common, by the way, as you know, undercutting your ingredients, that's every sourcing, and that obviously becomes a problem with reordering. We have 7 different manufacturers, so staying on top of that supply chain, literally with all the different customer supplied ingredients that we have for the different products, it's a lot. But you just want to separate yourself with that, and it really does create a story for your product that you're able to explain and really just authentically explain just the performance of the products and the ingredients that you're using, and why. So it's a lot of fun just going outside of the box, and just, it takes a little bit more time, as just formulating products. You can't just roll out it doesn't, it's got to take some time, it's got to take some serious creative research and revisions and, testing. Yeah.
It's a lot. People don't realize how much goes into it. Yeah. I think I have some bottles of your Revitalize. I'm pretty sure I ordered that. And is that bottled in Myron glass?
No, it's not. Okay. Excuse me. No, it's not. I thought about that. If I went pure powder, I would have gone glass. Yeah, Maroon. And but it tastes
with capsules. It's
yeah.
You don't really need it. But I did. Yeah, I even thought about putting Maroon, or the clay mask in Maroon, but the particles kept slipping out of the side, and the bottle looked nasty. But now we Revitalize is basically the morning tonic encapsulated. But man, there's no way I could make that taste, that appetizing. I mean, nobody would want to put that in, 8 ounces of water and then stir it up and drink it. It was just brutal. So we had to encapsulate it. But that's how I got a lot of my nutrition, was through that morning tonic, which is basically Revitalized right now. But that's cool.
It has that combination. It's very evenly distributed milligram wise throughout. Hoshirushi, Zandra. We have a little spirulina in there, chaga, reishi, ashwagandha, gynostemma. And then we have a little, we use our flowing agent as leucine, which is an amino acid that I, supplement with anyway. So we really, that's a good solid product. I'd love to get more into supplements. I plan to, but in due time, right?
That's cool. Yeah, I have like 2,000, 3,000 supplements here at the house because that's what I stockpile. And it's amazing looking, like 95% of them have silica or silicon dioxide or titanium dioxide, magnesium stearate. And I use these in my products the first couple of years, just getting going. But now as I'm just refining everything, I'm switching over to like biodegradable bottles. Bamboo silica is the flow agent, and bamboo silica is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, the research on that is bamboo is just such an incredible plant. You know, I only buy bamboo toilet paper and paper towels. You know, it's the best.
There's socks too.
Right.
Bamboo socks are amazing too. I mean, they're more breathable than cotton and stronger. Yeah, we have bamboo stem cell extract in the meteorite scrub.
Wow.
And you know that, I mean, you know the properties of bamboo. I mean, it grows every day. I mean, you know, incrementally, but it's
like elk antler.
Right. Oh, it's amazing.
Do you think you'll ever use elk antler velvet in your products, or?
I just
play with it.
I mean, I really just never found anything with elk antler. I never, you know, talk about just with me personally. I mean, I could barely, you know, way back in the day, you know, how expensive that was. I could barely.
Oh, you talk about the tincture bottles?
Yeah.
Oh, those are like $500. Yeah.
I never really found anything, beneficial from that. But I don't know if I'll do elk antler. I'm really, you know, the emu oil is something that's I found, you know, really good benefits with that. Tallow as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm trying to think of some other I mean, there's a lot. I mean, you're seeing products with, you know, obviously with stem cells and like extracts of umbilical cords and going into certain very, very higher level pharmaceutical products, but I'm staying away from that area. But definitely going to be expanding and continuously researching, looking out for new extracts and ingredients as we grow.
Love it. Yeah. I know Dragon Herbs sells deer placenta. That's one I've never taken.
Deer placenta. Yeah, I took that. That was in my smoothie. Some people, you know, freeze their placenta. I know mothers that have, like frozen their placenta, and I know some people that like feed it to their. I don't want to butcher this. I forget where it was, but I definitely took deer placenta. Post accident, mixed that one in. Yeah.
Wow. Have you ever like wild harvested mushrooms, like gone out and found like chaga or?
I haven't. Been a little, you know, because I'm from Northern California, Humboldt County. It's huge up there. Right. I don't know enough about it. Do you?
Yeah, you pretty much just have to find a birch forest. And when I moved here, there was some right off the road, like right up, like a few feet off the road, where I could just go, and I axed it off, and actually have had it here for a couple of years just by my wood stove. But there's a specific way you're supposed to dry them, or else they can mold. So that's where you have to be careful if you buy, you know, chaga from eBay or Amazon or something like that. A lot of these companies are selling moldy chaga mushroom. So it's really, I think our mutual friend, David Limaker of Vigor, that's really good stuff. Those chunks. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those guys make a very good product.
Yeah.
Jared and Dave, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They're who got me on the elk velvet years ago. And I think the capsule, I feel the capsules more than I do the tincture, but I don't know. But,
if it had some benefits and really, if I could authentically just, you know, tell a true story of how, you know, what I saw on it, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Mm-hmm. But as of right now, I haven't really seen too much from it.
Yeah. Well, Andy, do you want to jump into some questions? Because we have a ton. I'll pick out the good ones here.
Sure.
Let's see. How to prevent and repair scars. I think you kind of touched on it a bit in the beginning, but kind of minimize, you say UV light, or be careful with that?
Well, definitely depends on how new the wound is. Now, if they've had a scar there for years, that's going to be tough to diminish the appearance of it. However, with creating discoloration, if you create an even skin tone or brighten that area, I feel like it can reduce the appearance of the scarring depending on the thickness. I'd have to see this. It really does come down to timeline, and I'd have to see a picture. But the derma roller, clay mask, and night cream combo right there is what I basically did. Just take a day or two off in between, and depending on where you're at on the scar healing, if you got the stitches out, if it's fresh, I would give it a week or two. You're going to know you don't want to hit it with a derma roller too soon, but you want to definitely heal and hydrate that area with something with like a night cream or just something nutrient dense at night before you go to bed. Cacao butter is great. Shea butter, sea buckthorn oil, Prakashi oil. Colostrum. I mean, that's basically the same. Everything that's in my. I mean, that's exactly what I did though. I would follow up the clay mask. You could either spot treat it or do a whole, entire mask. But then once it dries, rinse it off, cold rinse to close the pores in that area, and then just spot treat that area with a really rich, clean. Cacao butter is amazing. If you're only looking for, cacao butter, I love Manuka honey, propolis, colostrum. I mean, a DIY route's kind of fun too. Or you can, I just don't. I'm not trying to just promote my products, but just really get I would advise that person. They're more than welcome to contact me. With a picture, I can determine a routine, a protocol for that a little bit better. But I mean, it just comes down to how long the scar has been set, how thick it is. But yeah, the sooner you get on that, on top of the healing process, the better. But yeah, there are definitely, we've seen some incredible results with that. Yeah. Yeah.
On your website, you have the social proof tab on the top, and you have the video testimonials and pictures, and that's pretty incredible to see the before and afters there. So
I know. Yeah. It's great. People, reach out to, I get asked about scars, very often, and, it's tough because I always ask for a picture. And I mean, they see some pretty gnarly gashes, but I mean, that it's just, your body has an amazing ability to heal itself, by the way. I don't want to say it's all, my products or the products, your body has it's a timeline of it. And also what you're putting into your body as well. Staying out of the sun so you're not baking in that scarring. I really feel like a Juve light would help with that as well. A Juve photobiomodulation is huge. And then just staying consistent with that routine. Taking a couple of days off to allow for the cell turnover, collagen synthesis to to advance, and then just stay consistent with that. I mean, we've seen, just as long as you're doing it and then catch it in time, we've seen incredible results with that. Yeah, derma roller, clay mask, night cream combination right there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We had a question from, I guess, one of your stories the other day. How did the methylene blue and gold serum scrub work the other day?
Oh, amazing. And I'm glad you brought that up because I think you'd be interested in this. So what I do, I'm just experimenting with it. This is all just my little thing. It's just what people like you and I do. So a few pumps of the gold serum. I take a little NAD in a little syringe, probably about 10 IUs. Wow. Probably about 10 IUs. And then probably like 3 or 4 drops of methylene blue. I make a little paste, put it on, and then apply. And then I derma roll it into the skin. I mean, for probably, about 3 minutes, all over. And then go this way as well, basically create like the Red Hot Chili Peppers logo, for lack of better example. Just tiny plus signs and X signs just all over little specific target areas. So you get every area of the pore. And it's just, I followed that with the clay mask. It doesn't now methylene blue, obviously it's intense, but I didn't, the clay mask just pulls out the pores pulls out, everything that's in the pores after that. And it just, I mean, your skin is like pulsating.
Wow.
Yeah. I just, it was an experiment. It has a high potential to get, yelled at, and methylene blue definitely stains. I would be very careful with that. However, this is, I mean, my skin has never, felt or looked better afterwards. So it's tough, Matt. It's like, you know what I mean? Like we were experimenting with these things, and I did use my Gold Serum product, but it's just out of my, it's all theory, but it did. I mean, I felt like just at a cellular level, I mean, it just all makes sense. You're getting your derma rolling, you're massaging that into the skin. You're getting past the epidermis. I feel like you're getting the most out of the combination too, which is amazing. They're finding out more and more about methylene blue. I still have yet to put it in a product, and I don't know if I will, but it just accelerates the mitochondria of each cell during the cell turnover process. I feel like that's the perfect time, to incorporate an ingredient like that, and also internally as well.
Yeah. I saw a whole product line. They're selling topical methylene blue, and I forget what they're mixing it with, but yeah, it's a fascinating compound I've been taking for about two or 3 years. And my friend actually reminded me yesterday that it could be toxic if you overdose it even one time. Like I took like 87.5 milligrams orally at once. But I think there's a lot of factors, how well, how much your body needs it. You're probably easier to high dose it, kind of like vitamin C. Your tolerance goes way up for vitamin C when you need it, and you absorb more at a time.
Yeah.
But it's a fascinating compound. It's really interesting. I think pulsing it at a lower dose doesn't have to be super low, like 4 milligrams at a time, but based on your body weight. Like when I had COVID, I was taking quite a bit for a few days, but not for a week straight. It was just like 2 or 3 days, hitting it hard and then stop, So,
and you felt good, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I went off Mark Sloan's table. He has a book, The Ultimate Guide to Methylene Blue, and it's based on your body weight.
Wow.
So it's, you can either do 0.5 milligrams per kilo of body weight or 1 or 1.5. And, I think based on my kilogram, which is around give or take 70, it was around like 80-90 milligrams a day. And this is based on clinical studies, on methylene blue. And it's, because it's originally an anti-malaria drug. So it's just a huge path. And I don't know if you can see in the video, but I have all these frequency machines behind me. And I like combining Tesla and Rife and plasma and these frequency therapies with all this stuff together. I mean, that's probably the ultimate thing. Like wear your mask in front of my Rife machine and just sit there and just let the frequencies hit it,
Dude, that is next level. I mean, leave it up to you. That's man. Yeah. I'd have to agree though. Wow.
Yeah. If you're ever up in Idaho, you can bathe in the frequencies. But
dude, I plan to visit Bend soon.
Oh, cool.
It's such a beautiful area, so maybe I'll just rent a car and cruise.
Nice.
Blackburn compound.
Yeah. I've hung out with him quite a bit. He's an interesting cat. He definitely lives it for sure. I mean, it's cool to meet someone that's actually doing it. And it was the most interesting thing was his bedtime. He was so strict. It was like kick everyone out of the house by 9:30. It's like, it is bedtime. There's no compromise. You're out, it's like you're either sleeping here or you're leaving.
Yeah. I mean, that dude's disciplined. I have ultimate respect for Ben Greenfield. He's a great
does some interesting stuff. It's I like the controversy. He made a post about Dry Farm wines that got so much hate, and it's just so funny to see the angry people on social media. There's just so many of them, and they're like, alcohol is straight poison. And I think these are people just with alcoholics in their family, and they're just like triggered because they had this personal experience where someone abused it, and there are some people like that, and that's fine. Some people are not meant to ever consume it because they can't stop. I can stop at one glass of red wine and I'm done. I do that every time. I don't need 3 or 4 or 5, so
Yeah.
it's just a personal thing, but
Yeah. I have to stay away from alcohol personally. That's me.
it's good to have the self-awareness. I mean, that's really the key. When you know yourself, that's the important part. So
Yeah, got to be transparent. That's a whole other podcast, but no excuses. And like you said, being aware and accountable and honest with yourself.
I love it.
Easy.
Yeah. I mean, even with cigars, it's like, I can't, I have to take breaks. My body will just say, here, a day off or a week off or a month off or 3 months off. It'll tell me. And it's just, I think it's tuning into your body, that feedback of when to cycle. And that goes with supplements too. I mean, I cycle most supplements, Sheila G, my bottle says, take a week off of Sheila G. You're like, all right, and then start back on a gram a day,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man. I got to get some more of your Sheila G. That's that right there in the dissolve it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. That the Sheila G is still my favorite nootropic. I mean, and I stack other, I've been playing with saffron extract and
interesting.
All these other, I'm playing with nootropics, different ways. But playing with a lot of those lately. Because last year I was forgetting my gate code and just my memory was starting to go. And then I started remembering like my research with advanced glycation end products and protein cross-linking and how sugar reacts with the proteins in our body. And usually the reactions are creating a ton of oxidative stress and seems like pretty serious, cut and dry. This is how it is. Like sugar in the body is really reactive. And I think that was going on in my noggin. So I'm like, all right, time to reset. And hitting the lion's mane hard. I do like 3 grams of that in my coffee. And just all the BDNF stuff, the brain derived, nootropic factor, the neurogenesis. It's amazing how, I remember in school learning that our brain and our heart can't make new cells. And that's actually been proven false. Even with our heart cells, we can make new heart cells just with enhanced magnetism.
What?
Yeah.
So how would one go about enhancing magnetism?
I mean, I like the Magnetico sleep pad. I had Dr. Dean Bonley on the show. I think he was a genius. Rest in peace. He recently passed, and he was just a hero. I think the world, so many people have been passing away lately. It's been really interesting to watch. There's something going on, but he was just a maverick, like an innovative guy with the magnetic therapy. And his whole thing was just one polarity instead of bipolar. So his whole thing was you can tire the system having the acupuncture effect, whether it's the Niacinamide bracelet or just applying magnets on the body, or using magnets incorrectly, you can deplete the chi. And this is, I guess, well known that if you do acupuncture more than once a week, you get diminishing returns. So you can overdo acupuncture because it's both polarities that you're working with, north and south. Whereas with the earth, it's only one pole. You're only getting exposed to one pole whenever you're in the northern or the southern hemisphere. Different polarities there. So that's how he invented the pads, where you put it under the mattress. You're not sleeping directly on it. And there's 4 to 6 inches between you and the 400 pounds of magnets, which is 40 times the Earth's magnetic field, which is 20 Gauss. So the Earth's magnetic field is 0.5 Gauss right now. And supposedly years ago, it was 300 Gauss. Like if you believe in dinosaurs, when they were here, that's why everything was huge. That's why organisms were huge, because there was more oxygen, more magnetism, increased air pressure. Everything was increased. Everything was bigger, which kind of makes sense. And so NASA's talked about how we're heading for a pole reversal. And I think it's in about 500 years now, where every time this happens, they've done deep core sampling, drilling down into the rivers around the world. I think it's called hysteresis. They look at the alignment of magnetite crystals, deep in the earth. And every time the magnetite crystals shifted, there was a layer of fossils. So there was an extinction level event. Wow. So we've been through like 7 ages, and we're like about to get to the next one.
Ooh, wow.
So I don't know. I don't know if you looked at, documentaries about pole reversals and stuff, but apparently it can create, wild tsunamis and crazy weather. And the biggest thing with decreased magnetism is we just get more tired. So, just like we supplement pills, to get the nutrients that we used to get before we had, we used to have less oxidative stress, less EMFs, less just stress in general. We needed less nutrition. And now with all this stress, we need to supplement, but we also need to supplement magnetism, which you can amplify the Earth's So you're doing it for free, just moving to Sedona. I think that is one of the best things to supplement, because I'd be curious to get like a Gauss meter and see where you're sitting, where you're at. I mean, outside of a Wi-Fi bubble, and see what the Gauss is, the milligauss. Because I would imagine it's higher than where I live here.
Me too. I mean, no offense. There's something I would love to get that. Yeah, but would you the Gauss measure?
Yeah, I'm trying. 10 Mars is the one that I used. Let me see if I could just Google it really quick.
If you take that thing up to Bell Rock Canyon, I want to see what that reads up there.
Yeah, so $150 on Amazon. Just search 10 Mars, just like it sounds, the number 10 Mars, one word. That's a digital Gauss meter. And they have different models. Probably doesn't matter too much. I would go for I'm not a fan of the tri-field meter. That's what everyone uses. I don't like the analog. I like the digital. I think it's more accurate. And the tri-field meter is more just a cheapo thing anyway. It's not really useful as a measurement device, but yeah, and test it at night too, because apparently during the day, the sun's magnetic field pushes down the Earth's magnetic field. So at night, that's where we get charged up. We sleep because the Earth's magnetic field comes up. So yeah, all this stuff's fascinating to me. I feel like I've been ranting about it for the last couple of weeks on my show, because it's a big piece of the puzzle. They actually did studies with supplementing a magnetic field. It was 2.5 increased lifespan of human tissue cultures. They did human tissue cells, 2.5 times increase in lifespan.
Oh, well, why wouldn't you want to experiment with that? I have to get one of those pads. Definitely. Now, interestingly enough, a friend of mine out here he does acupuncture, and he has they're magnets, and you sleep with them in. And I had them all around my ears last night, and they target spleen, kidney, liver, heart. But yeah, I had 4 different ones, and I didn't really notice anything, but it's just interesting. We're talking about it right now, and I geeked out on that last night. But I definitely, there's so much, and energy and frequency is basically the whole. That's where it all stems from, right?
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I've never heard of that. I'm always into all the different sleep things, because years ago I used the Neurophone. It's Patrick Flanagan made it, and it's a patented device, but you can hook an iPod to it and run audio through it, and it's 2 transducers that you put gel on, and you put it on your forehead, and it runs 40,000 hertz, 40 kilohertz of dolphin frequencies.
Wow.
So like it's like pink noise, it's called. It's not white noise, it's pink noise. So your body never gets used to it.
Right.
And what's cool is I ran subliminal messages through it. So I like reprogram my brain all night long on repeat through my skull instead of through my ears. And it did make a difference. I definitely reprogram my mental, just the way I look at life by doing that. I did it for like 6 months straight, but really, really cool. You could do it just without the subliminals too, or run whatever things you want through it. But
Wow.
Yeah, I think there's so much we could do while we sleep, and it's kind of like water, right? I mean, people just put water straight from their water filter or whatever right into their drinking water, just into their mug or whatever, and they just drink it straight. I'm like, you should at least do one or two things. That's my thoughts with sleeping. I mean,
Yeah.
stack at least a few things with it,
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. I mean, it's everything. It's the coffee we described. It's our meals that we make. If we can make it better and enhance it
and have fun with it. Like you said, don't go neurotic, right? Because I mean, it's my life. So it's like, I have a free pass, but I think some people could get lost in it and just get too like heady with it. Right. I mean, it's
right.
The power is in the integration, right? Of going outside on a walk in nature. I never listen to music or podcasts when I'm in the forest. That's like sacred time. I want to hear the bird song. I want to get the frequencies.
Right.
I want to just be tuned into that music, not anything else, not anything electronic.
Yeah. Yeah. The one with nature, man.
Yeah.
I have an absolute lust for nature, dude. I really needed this. You know what I mean? Gosh, it's like a sanctuary out here. There's so many hummingbirds. Yeah. It's, yeah.
I love your hummingbird videos. Those are great. We get a ton up here in the summer, actually. And they probably go through 2 of those hummingbird feeders, I buy the glass ones every 2 days. Like, wow. I probably fill it a quarter with sugar, with C&H sugar. So they're eating, well, I don't buy the syrup garbage.
Oh, no.
They get the pure water with pure sugar.
Exactly.
They love it.
Dude, they mow through every 2 days.
Maybe 2 to 3, but I'll watch them just all day long from like 8 a.m. to sundown, which in the summer is often 10:30 or sun goes down, and they're just drinking from it. And I love supporting that. There's something to supporting the animals around your home, because you have this unnatural structure. You're like butting into their environment.
Right.
So there's something really special to like feeding them and supporting them. And I have like 5 different energy devices here constantly emitting bubbles of who knows what it's doing, but the animals seem to be happy around my house. So.
Yeah, me too. I completely agree. That's a really good way to put it. Just put a structure right in there. Yeah, you have to respect it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun too. Yeah, it really does make my day. The hummingbirds specifically, man. It's so fun when they get hopped up later on at night, like the golden hour. They're so talkative and sure. Oh man, that's great. Yeah, they
yeah, I'll have to get that little finger thing that you do, or you have. Yeah. I noticed they come right up to your hand.
Oh, dude, when you make eye contact with them, especially right there, it's a moment. Seriously, it's a big moment. You just feel their trust in you. You know what I mean? And they're looking right at you with their little eyes, and like they're so small and tiny, and it takes so much to get to that point. I mean, I've only done it 3 times in like 4 years where I've had them land. You know what I mean? Right on the finger, but it's such a out of body moment, and that's my little spirit animal right there.
Well, I'll have to try that with the dragonflies, because the summer here is beautiful. I have a private lake, 6 acres about, and it's I'll go out in my rowboat or kayak and just hundreds of dragonflies, and then the bats come out, and but the dragonflies will land right on you, and those are, talk about alien creatures. Dragonflies are an interesting.
Dude, it's so interesting when you see them go in and like get their water, and they just keep going back and out and like little flips. But I love dragonflies, man. Yeah,
anything that eats mosquitoes are angels to me. So those are demon spawn, the mosquitoes.
Oh man, yeah. You get one in your room, good luck sleeping, man.
Right. So that was a fun little tangent. We'll do a few more questions here. Sure. Kind of a 2-parter. Is Botox really bad, and is microneedling worth doing? I don't know if those are related, but
I mean, I wouldn't do Botox. There's like a more natural one. I forget. It came out within the past 3 or 4 years that I think is more like biologically correct for us and less toxic. I just really don't know enough about the long-term effects of what that would do. I just really, I mean, just me personally, when you get the gravity, I mean, we're talking about gravity, right? With the magnets and things like that, you get the circulation going and you stay consistent with exfoliating or your routine. You're eating right, you're running, you're keeping your neckline intact, you're hitting the sauna. There are natural ways, chewing gum to get a nice, a stronger jaw. I mean, but as far as, just mitigating and wrinkles through adjusting like the natural process with Botox, I would stay away from that or go, there's a new one. I just forget what it's called right now. But,
is it the PRP? I think I've seen Ben do it where it turns your face red. It looks like you got a sunburn. Have you seen that?
PRP, yeah. So that
rich there.
Yeah, PRP. I have done that. I didn't really notice too much from that. I mean, it's tough to tell, but they basically they drain your plasma, they spin it in a centrifuge, right, and then they inject just the platelet-rich plasma into certain areas. They roll it into your skin. They have a little device which is like a 1.5 or 2 millimeter needle that just gets it past that area. But I didn't really. Oh, hey,
here's my little alien here. He's definitely from another world.
Yes, look at those eyes. Wow.
For those that can't see, it's my cat. He always likes to interrupt when I'm shooting videos for YouTube or whatever. He'll walk.
Nice. Yeah, I got to get a dog out here. Just the micro needling. Yeah, if you can either get a good titanium one, do it yourself. I don't. The only thing is when you go into a med spa or an esthetician, they're gonna be using a longer needle, so it's going to penetrate further than anything you're going to be able to buy over the counter here in the States. So that you may get a little bit more effect from getting past that epidermis that much further, but that I would do over Botox every few months or 4 months or something like that personally.
And there's the cryo topical too, right? I've seen videos of that where they do the topical cryotherapy with have you seen that? Like the liquid nitrogen or whatever, those stand-up cryotherapy chambers where your head's out.
Right. Yeah.
Apparently spas have little guns you lay down on a table and they're putting that on your face.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. Like the Cool Sculpt or something, something like that. The cryofacial. Yeah, I think US Cryo had something. I don't even think I've tried it, but I think it may be one of those things where it gets so cold and it mitigates your pores so much and kind of tightens your skin that you leave with that kind of effect and you feel like your skin's tighter, and obviously cold shrinks the pores. So it's possible there may be some benefits. I just, I think you could get something similar by just dunking, your face into some ice water daily. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong there with that, but I've seen some of those machines, and I think there are other ways you can get similar results, and benefits.
Right. Yeah, I have Luke introduced me. He interviewed the people with the cold laser therapy. They're class 3. I think it's 808 nanometer, 1500. Is it microwatts? And they're little pens. I don't know if you've seen these. And and you can put them right on the skin, and they're pretty powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, you run for 5 minutes or something.
Yeah. The cold laser, that's legit. Cold laser is legit. I can't find them. I mean, I would love, dude, if you could send me that link. That would be cold laser. Yeah. That's actually very helpful for the person that asks the question about scarring.
Okay.
Cold laser, amazing for scarring.
Cool.
Just at different stages of the recovery. But yeah, happy if that individual wants to just shoot me some pictures, I'm happy to set them up with a protocol.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. That's generous. This is a good one. How to protect the skin from the sun in a healthy way. And I've said this on my show, the quantum health people, there has been kind of a message the last several years of the more sun, the better. You should be able to handle the sun, build your solar callus, then it's unlimited sun, no worries at all. Where in my head, I'm like, what about your vitamin E status, which is internal sunscreen? What about your vitamin C status, which is internal sunscreen. It's like there are all these factors to how we react. Even the amount of saturation of fats in our skin, that affects how we, if we burn easier, if we could, how much UV we can handle. I mean, UV it's intense. I mean,
it's so, Matt, I mean, where do I go with that? It's like, I've been out in the sun. Have I, has my, skin been callous because of that? Because I mean, I'm out in the sun at least 20 minutes to an hour a day, but that's interesting. Well, I mean, if I'm out, sometimes 2 to 3, but if I don't know, if you're in that tropical sun, I don't really burn. I wonder if that comes down to diet. I'm not going to say it's my products. Like I do a little body lotion post just because it, we have the aloe cacao butter. It's great. I feel like 15 to 20 minutes of good, direct sunlight is beneficial personally. If you get out of there before 20 minutes, technically you're not supposed to burn or get any of the bad effects from that. I would the subcutaneous fat is huge. So, I mean, getting good, the ribeye content, all the good healthy fats that we're consuming does help the thickness and just the overall texture of the skin. And I think sun resilience, but that's theory on my end. I can't quantify that. We're working on an SPF right now, a non-nano zinc. I don't want to go titanium dioxide or anything complicated with that route. I would just say, post sun, snap it. I mean, if you have access to an actual aloe vera plant, just pat that on. I mean, that's ideal right there. You get those good, like live, polysaccharides, like the orange ooze. And I mean, that's the best, I would say. Nice. Cacao butter. And then, I keep going on this DIY route because that's really how it started. But I mean, it was just, I feel like I get 20 minutes to maybe an hour of sunlight daily. And then
that's reasonable. Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
And then I just, condition the skin with body lotion and just maintain the normal protocol, but that I'm normally doing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I don't want to make it sound like I'm anti-sun. I mean, I am out here where there's minimal sun for half the year, but yeah, I just like to give a balanced perspective. And I think, once you get your dose, it's like cover up with wide brim hat and pants and long sleeve or something. Ideally don't use, sunscreen, but yeah, I know there's like the Fitzpatrick skin types, and there's like 1 through 6, like 1 being like, pale white skin, blonde hair, blue eyes, green eyes, red hair, whatever. And I'm kind of in that category of most. I mean, I kind of burn easy and tan poorly, but yeah, I think it is a nutrient. I mean, all the colors, are so powerful. And like I have green lights here, and every color of light has a different benefit.
Yeah.
And it's why we eat colorful vegetables, right? Or you did. I don't know if you still.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's like fermented vegetables. I'm big on kimchi right now.
Nice.
Kimchi, so I make a little
nice
little mash avocado kimchi. But yet, that's a tough one. I'm sorry I can't give a better answer because I do understand, skin types and be a little bit more of a lighter skin tone. You don't want to be just out but I mean, I'm out in the sun every day it lifts me up, without the sun. I mean, I'd be in front of one of those green lights. I mean, a friend of mine who went to Oregon, he's from San Diego. He had to sit in front of a seasonal, one of those seasonal affective disorder lights for, I think 30 minutes a day just to get the, endorphins going. Yeah. He went through a mild depression. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. For me, the red, the visible red, the near infrared, the mid, all the reds, all the spectrum of the infrareds and the visible red, those to me are the most important. Like I can actually go without UV for several months, but for some reason the red gives me the biggest lift. And just combination of the panel and the sauna is like perfect.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. The red specifically, I'm missing that. I can't explain it. It's so much different than any other, the full spectrum panel light. But I mean, the Juve light being without that, I mean, I just got another one because the other one didn't make the move. Long story on that one. Very irritated. But yeah, I've been without it for a little bit. But yeah, it has some type of just effect internally that just really energizes and also helps vascularity. Pre-workout, I pre and post. Big fan of the Juve Light.
Oh yeah. Let's see. We had a bunch of questions on retinol or vitamin A. Did you ever go down that rabbit hole of helpful or harmful? Because I know synthetic retinol they use for acne, right? Is that retin A, I think?
Yeah. So there are retinoids, there's retin A. Retinol it's one of those things like Botox. It's undeniably effective for mitigating crow's feet and fine lines and wrinkles over time. Thing is, the sun sensitivity and like just the downtime and the unpredictable, just not side effects, but just kind of, the bad side of retinol can be a little, the sensitivity specifically for me. I don't do it, but I feel like I would get like these little tiny little red dots around. So you just have to be careful of that. But retinol is effective. We use a plant-derived vitamin A that does have similar benefits to that. But, I really do like, the beta carotene element from like sweet potato, getting that internally. I feel like, the orange, beets, sweet potatoes, cantaloupe. I don't do too much oranges, but salmon. I feel like those are more of the for some reason just help with the color and the overall just skin tone of in my diet. I would say and it's interesting. It's kind of like it's like the complexion of the color of my complexion right now. And I do a lot of mango as well. Yeah.
I love it. I've been hitting the avocados harder, and I know Dr. Mercola is a big fan, and great source of potassium. Depending on the soil, it could be almost a gram per avocado, I think, potentially more. I plan on growing some super avocados here. I'm definitely going to focus on those, and I'm putting up a geodesic growing dome this summer where I'm gonna have fruit trees in there. They grow in the snow year round.
What?
Yeah, and I want to do some. What's that?
From your dome, though. I mean, just because of the thing you're creating. Wait, avocados or wait?
Yeah, I can grow subtropical here when it gets to freezing temps, because inside the temperature, if you tap into the Earth's temperature, it's a constant. I think it's 50. It's like 56 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that, well above freezing. Uh-huh. And I trenched about 5 feet into the Earth, and so. There's actually a guy in, I think, Nebraska. There's like a viral YouTube video where he made a huge greenhouse and he tapped into the geothermal, and he's growing oranges. Like, he has a huge orange orchard in the snow, and he has fans going. Obviously he's on grid, I'd imagine, but he's kind of pumping the Earth's heat up through the greenhouse and kind of circulating it. My system's not going to be that elaborate, but I don't think it needs to be for it being only 33 feet diameter.
Right.
But I'm gonna have a little koi pond in there, so that adds another layer of like heat stuff, and the fish poop, and the plants are generating some heat at the roots and stuff with the microbe activity. And I want to do some cool energy experiments in there. My friend Charles, he does electro agriculture, and you can pretty much bump up the electricity in the soil with various methods, like putting like copper rods in the soil and stuff. And
I can see that.
Yeah. Pretty much little antennas, drawing in different energies. And
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be fascinated to watch that experiment.
I'll dump some of your meteorite dust in the garden beds.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
I love it. Topical niacinamide. Have you looked into that? Someone asked.
Yes. Yeah. It's in our toner. It just creates a little brightness, but naturally though, it's, we like that. It's a nice little element. That's interesting. Whoever that is knows their stuff. Awesome. Yeah.
Anti-aging for hands. I know my mom, she uses a lot of moisturizer, and I'd imagine like if you wash your hands a lot, like dishwashers or something, or not saying my mom is washing the dishes all the time. I mean, she does, the moms or the cleaners, but keeping the hands moisturized is probably important, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's especially, yeah, I mean, a lot of the soaps, hand soaps, I mean, ingredient decks are not, too fun to look at. So you want to follow up with a nice, rich body lotion or hand cream. But just make sure it's clean, because that could just elongate it could be completely counterproductive if you're using, something just very heavily fragrant and just with like a lot of glycerin in there, just to make sure it feels like it's slippery and moisturized. But no, I mean, we want to get something in there that's actually, serving a purpose for the skin post. Yeah, it's a lot. I would say get a good hand cream. And then I've even heard, depending on how bad it is, of people wearing gloves at night. Just a little lotion, and then putting rubber gloves on over that. That helps condition. So it's a little much for me, but yeah, I think that would help.
This is a really good one. Thoughts on gua-sha for youthful skin? I used to do that in the sauna consistently.
Yeah. I use a jade roller. Gua-sha is amazing as well. Highly recommend. Definitely. Mm-hmm. Make sure you get a good stone though, and you're not using plastic.
I missed. I don't know if I have it somewhere here in one of my boxes in my office, but I used to have a bullhorn spoon. That was my favorite. It was like a really heavy, well, not heavy, but it was just a sturdy kind of black spoon, and it was semi-sharp on the edge. Mm-hmm. And I really missed that, because that seemed to really get in there, and just the thick goop that would come out of my skin in the sauna was crazy.
Wow. Yeah. And it's good for lymphatic drainage too. Just all around there. Yeah, I do that daily. Keep it in the freezer.
Oh, wow.
Keep it in the freezer and do it post sauna. Game changer.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Just seeing if we have any other ones. I think, that was, a lot of retinol questions. I guess that's trending right now. Because I've been a huge proponent of cod liver oil, and people say it's, you can overdo the A. My genetics have an increased need for vitamin A, and I think we are individuals, so we have to look at that. Like, is someone more susceptible to vitamin A toxicity, overdosing on it? Yeah, but how much of that is a vitamin E deficiency, which mitigates excess vitamin A, just like K2 mitigates excess vitamin D. It's all in balance with those fat soluble vitamins.
Right. And how do you, I mean, obviously just, with getting blood work done and finding certain markers you'd recommend to find that out?
The fat soluble vitamins are tricky. Even the water salt, because I take a B complex and ascorbic and vitamin C every day, and it's tricky to measure the vitamins. I mean, in the blood, that's kind of you could do vitamin E tests in the blood and stuff. But I mean, these things are stored in our cell membranes, deep in the organs and the tissues. So the blood isn't really a good reflection, like iron is an exception, because serum ferritin is an exact mirror reflection of tissue iron stores. As top iron biologist in the world, Robert Crichton, agrees with that statement. The iron thing, I delved the deepest he possibly could into, and came out with a balanced perspective that some people have too much iron and they need to donate. But then some people, like me, donating is a death sentence, and you need to keep up with iron-rich things and actually build up your iron stores, especially if you've been vegan or vegetarian like I was. So someone asked, new trend I'm seeing is using bee venom on the skin. I actually looked into that because I'm a big fan of bee products. They're really interesting. Do you ever play with that?
No, I looked into it too. I was interested. I was interested to hear like what your findings were. I found it in a couple. This was years ago, right? Yeah. When somebody suggested it to me, and it sounded great because I was already into bee products. But the whole venom. Number one, I wasn't able to find it, but like I don't. I mean, that's like synonymous with snake oil to me. I mean. I don't know. But I have heard some interesting, as far as plumping characteristics, which to the skin. But I haven't seen it in a product or any anything since then. But what about you? Did you find anything? I've heard of things, as a nootropic, put it on the back of your neck. And you're like, but yeah,
I haven't tried it. I surprisingly, in all my years of beekeeping, which hasn't been successful, by the way, failed every time. I have been stung once. I was walking into the health food store from the parking lot, and this was down in San Diego years ago, and it stung me, or it got caught under my collar in my shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked through Sprouts, and I felt this like thing moving around right in my shirt, and I started to like swat, and then it stung me right in my lower neck, like almost in like the vein.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the bathroom and took the stinger out, and I was flying high. I felt like I drank tons of espresso. I felt really good. Actually, it was definitely a brain booster, almost kind of on the level of cold therapy, like that, the kind of brain feeling you get.
Wow.
So, yeah. But I don't know topically. I mean, I'm sure, injecting like the bee did versus topically, it's different. But
yeah, I'm not. Yeah, like I mean, can't come back to the bee venom since I did not that I couldn't find it. I think I found one kind of suspect source, and I it was so expensive to get it ordered to me, and I didn't want that on my ingredient deck. You have such beautiful propolis, pollen, beeswax, manuka, and then the venom part I think would just kind of throw it out. But there's a possibility it could work beautifully. I just I couldn't find it. But if it has something, a characteristic in it that works, I mean, why not?
Yeah. But when I used to buy honey down in not Julian, but it was in the rural area above San Diego. Can't remember the area. This is where they sell a lot of milk and stuff. And I went to a beekeeper's house, and he was not scared about getting stung. Like, like the bees were just flying all around his yard when I was picking up milk and honey from him. And one lands on his arm and stings him, and he just swats it just like it's nothing.
Yeah. I've always worn the bee the suits when we it's a fascinating process, dude, holding I'm talking to a beekeeper, but just seeing their little antennas
novice,
the little wax, it's just like welcome to the world. That's such a trip. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I know some people like sleep on beehives. I don't know if you've seen that on social media. I guess like the hums, there's some benefit.
I can see that.
I know some, because I have tons of lodestones. Some people recommend putting lodestones by their hive or inside, like bump up the magnetism.
Do it. Do it. Yeah, they're
pretty cool.
Those are, bees, hummingbirds, dragonflies. You know what I mean? There's some next level creatures and critters.
Oh yeah. Someone asked sudden adult acne, how to fix. So it's been kind of an annoying thing in my life, acne, and it's a tricky one. I know there's like a fungus component, right? Like a yeast overgrowth, candida. I remember Daniel Vitalis talking about it years ago, and he was like, it's like a mushroom on a tree. That's just what you're seeing, but 90% of that fungus is in the tree. So that pimple you're seeing on the skin, that is just the tip of the iceberg for what's going on, because that infection is in your skin, in your system. It's not just that pimple, that one pimple. It's not just that external spot. So,
yeah, I mean, I first heard about that with like little, moles, or, I forget the name, just like little cysts around. I mean, that's like the point where that toxic element just presents itself. And there's a lot more underneath, like you said, to be told from those imperfections. And we definitely need to pay attention to that. As far as sudden adult acne, I mean, I would definitely, as far as the yeast component, you need to see if it had any drastic diet changes, or trauma related, you know what I mean? But, you know, it's stress is huge as well. How are they eating? Yeah, there's a lot that could potentially go into that. Yeah, from a product protocol, you know, standpoint, and then obviously lifestyle, and then with their nutrition, we would have to analyze it through all of that as far as just what their lifestyle is like, how they're eating, what kind of products they're using. I mean, there's a lot that goes into this for everything from household products that you're using. I mean, you could have one little, I mean, it's not as hard to clean up, but as you know, pay attention to everything that you're using, from air fresheners, from everything down to, like you said, bamboo, you know, toilet paper, you know, as opposed to bleach, you know, just all these very, you know, the higher, you know, bigger brands, just without the quality that we need. Just there's a way to optimize and clean up all elements of our life that could potentially have something to do with it. But I mean, that's a tough one though, especially when it spurs later on in life. Right. I really just don't know enough about that. And I don't think it just comes, especially when it spurs out of nowhere like that. I don't think it's a lifestyle, diet, or a product thing. I mean, you know, especially with adult acne, I mean, I think it could be something more, you know, internal with, yeah, I mean, potentially, as you mentioned, candida or something else. But I mean, I think it would definitely be something different than diet, product, or lifestyle, you know, when it just pops up later on in life like that.
Great. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I found if I'm underslept, my skin quality goes down. Just if I start sleeping really well, yeah, skin improves. So
sleep is huge.
Yeah,
for skin. Huge for skin. Absolutely. Yeah.
I think this might be the last one. We had a few questions on oily nose and how to mitigate an oily nose. Would you say like clay, or,
you know, that a good clay mask, a good, yeah, clay is great. I mean, if you could to reduce sebum production specifically on the nose, if you wanted to do a spot treat on that could be, you know, that could definitely, I mean, that's something also that could dry up quickly. You could do daily, you know what I mean? Just like a nice little, I mean, just like just spot treat it. And that'll clean up oil, sebum production, clean up the dirt and oil. Yeah, I mean, that would mitigate the pores too. I mean, that's like the biggest culprit too, is your nose or our noses for blackheads. So I would spot treat that and see if it helps with a good bentonite mask, or, you know, but something like that will help reduce the moisture and sebum and oil.
Yeah, I know a lot of people use like the strips. I've used them in the past where you put them on and they pull out the blackheads. Would you say the clay, obviously a more natural solution, would you say it's more effective too?
Yeah, I would, you know, a good extraction from an esthetician once a year is helpful. Yeah, the clay mask, I mean, I that's probably what I do, is once a year I would do that just to get a good extraction from the stuff that the clay mask can't pull out. But yeah, I would go in and get an extraction depending on how, depending on the level of the blackhead, you know, I mean, how big of a problem it is to you. But yeah, the clay mask is, and then also exfoliating, just keeping, whether it's the clay mask or somebody else's product with like a good exfoliating scrub as well, just to keep the pores clean, and just overall maintenance is huge. But also just doing something like a big treatment of that, an extraction once a year, I would recommend. You'd be surprised, you know, because if you've gone 5-10 years without an extraction, you'll really pull out a lot of stuff that's been there, and it, you know, cleans up the appearance as well. Yeah.
Is that the only like treatment you'd recommend from an esthetician, or any other like kind of yearly things?
Yeah, I mean, personally, yeah, you know, there's some really good laser treatments. They're intense, so you know what I mean. Hey, Matt, you and I just got to say, so like, there's this Fraxel laser. I mean, like a week, I don't know, 3 or 4 days downtime. I haven't done it, I don't know, 5-6 years, but it's like there's some really good laser treatments out there that do have some significant downtime, but I mean, it's one of those things that it's kind of undeniably effective. You know what I mean? It's like it's this Fraxel treatment but it's extremely painful. You got to probably have numbing cream. So now you're baking in the numbing cream. I like to stay away from that. But as far as, I feel like body work is probably the best thing that we can do. And then just self-care, a good extraction series. It's like blood work, you going in and just doing certain things to for maintenance are important. But, the estheticians just have it, they have that mirror where they can get in there. If blackheads are bothering you, a good extraction, once or twice a year is good. But
that's awesome.
That's about all I can recommend. Cause man, I every facial, I don't even get them, but like, probably had a few in the past few years. It's just, I always leave there just feeling like I wish I would have used my products.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
This is a good.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I really want to do this, man. I want to do some type of like blindfold experiment, like the best face, the most, whatever it is, esthetician, and just a derma roller clay mask. I want to do a side-by-side blind
That'd
test.
be cool.
I really strongly feel like this is the most effective single-use product, on the market. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. And with the clay mask, you don't have to wash out that bowl every time, right? You could just leave it in there once you're done. You don't have to scrub it, or
you should. Don't get me wrong. There have been times where I've had to just quickly prepare another one. But yeah, definitely rinse out and just keep the wands or the mixing tools clean. I use, like I said, the onyx and then the selenite, but just use a non-metallic bowl to mix the mask, just to maintain the properties of the clays. It just has this amazing ability to pull out heavy metals and just it's a very, very big detoxification component to it.
I'm gonna get on it. I'm gonna keep a bowl in my bathroom and just keep it in the shower and just do it right before. And it's just, you keep it on for what, 5-10 minutes, or
no, you got to let it completely dry. So I would say 20 to 30.
Okay.
And then just hop in the shower, rinse it off, cold rinse to close the pores, and then moisturize. But definitely with everything that you have in your place, incorporate the Juve. Incorporate the Juve sitting while it's drying. You know what I mean? At a cellular level, you just, it's an amazing device to have alongside it. And
the red light.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I tell you, I have a shower head with crystals and 27 vortexes. So it's
take a picture of that and send it to.
It's a steam shower, so it's just so there's no drops. It's just steam coming down, or it's kind of like it feels really interesting. I'll take a picture.
How do you shampoo? How do you shampoo if it's?
Or it's solid water, but it's like a spray. It's like a really fine mist that comes down through the 27 vortex. It's a company out of Europe. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. No, that's a huge thing that we have to add. It's just a shower filter is an absolute must. Yeah.
I'm fortunate to be on a spring, but I realized one of those 27 vortexes got clogged, and my plumber was here, and I was asking him, it's like, was it the product? And he said, no, you have calcium in your water. And he poked one of them with a needle, and it freed it up. So I'm actually putting in a water softener here in a few days, because even though I'm on a spring, there's so much calcium that it is clogging up some things, even with the whole house filter. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
I have a basic whole house. I'm not trying to take out everything. So it's just carbon, sediment, UV. But my drinking, that's where it goes through my crazy 7-stage Mitolife filter. But
you guys make a water filter?
In about a month, it'll be out. It's been a couple years in the making, and it's unique. It was built from scratch. It's not a private label. It's not from Alibaba. It's not from a water conference. We built it from scratch. Wow. Housing, the bracket, all from scratch. Respect. And it's open source. So it'll be pretty awesome. I'm really into water, and I think AquaTrue and Pristine Hydro have been the big games in town for the last 5-10 years. And I kind of want to change that, offer offer something different from both of those, that's pretty effective. So not to turn this into a commercial.
No, dude, I can tell. No, it's just, you feed off each other's excitement, man. I can tell. I'm seeing it right here. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'll have to get you one. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm sure the water there is pretty good though. So
that's what they say, but you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you should see it. They have full-on water shops, like Vortex water. They're adding in all these like elements and minerals.
528 hertz beaming in.
Exactly. Exactly. No, seriously, they're big on that. Yeah.
This is the last good question, kind of on the vein of what we've been talking about. Thoughts on metals like gold, silver, and copper in skincare. So I know you use the copper peptide. In the Gold Serum, do you use actual gold?
No, we thought about it. I just, it was too complicated for me to find at the time.
I'd imagine it raised the price to be crazy.
Yeah. I wonder if anybody's done that. I'm not sure. I'm sure somebody has, but we use copper peptide in the Gold Serum, colloidal silver in the Pearl Cleanser. I love gold as a metal in general. I think it's a sacred metal, precious. I mean, so much history as jewelry, but as for in skincare, no. I mean, colloidal silver is and copper right now are probably, and obviously the titanium and the dermal and whatever. But I would, just the colloidal silver was just purely used as an alternative because nobody uses that to eat up bacteria. You know, as far as skincare component, it's really been helpful for cystic acne and acne in general, as opposed to all the the drying agents that don't fix the issue. It's more of a band-aid. But no gold yet, but silver, copper. Yeah, that's about it right now. But I'm open.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have to get back to colloidal silver because years ago when I was living in the RV, I was making it consistently with two rods, 99.999% pure silver. And I was running current through them, positive, negative, and that one of them was kicking off the silver ions into homemade distilled water. So I distilled my own water. And then in the dark, because apparently silver is photoreactive, like the old Santa Claus pictures we got as a kid, supposedly it's silver on the film. And once photons hit it, it blows it up and it reacts. So the power of silver apparently is in the keeping it protected from the light. So I would make it with a black light, like in a dark room, almost like developing film. And I would wrap my mason jar in aluminum foil and put it in the cupboard. And I would go so far as to not until I turned the lights off to go to bed, I'd grab it from the cupboard in the dark and sip it. And I felt the electricity. It was like this weird tingling feeling as it went down my intestinal tract. Wow. Like freshly made, homemade silver in the dark was an experience. And I think it's a great hand sanitizer. I mean, if you could make it yourself, bottle it in Myron glass, if you have the time for that. But then again, it's like a once a month thing. I mean, if you make a batch, it lasts for several weeks, and it has, I think homemade silver is the strongest. I know I've been to conferences where, they have all the claims like, ours is such and such, and you can't make this at home. I don't know if I buy that. I think it is a great homemade product if you have the time and energy to experiment with it, but it's worth it. It's an experience.
Yeah. A friend of mine, ingested colloidal silver. I haven't done it yet. I'm definitely open to it.
I think microdoses, it can deplete selenium. That's the danger. It's connected with selenium. So you can cause a selenium deficiency, especially if someone's vegan or vegetarian.
Right.
So, yeah.
And that could affect testosterone a little bit, right? Yes. Yeah. Interesting.
All the experiments. That's cool though that you have those in your products. I love it. And Andy, this was so cool. We should wrap this up. 4:20 here and sun's going down. So
dude, I could talk. No, I really appreciate you having me on. It's been too long since we caught up, man. I'm so proud of you, Matt. I mean, you really, dude, you built this from scratch, full on, bootstrap. As far as I know, I just looking from afar, dude. I just I love how you do it. Love what you're doing, and you're helping a lot of people. That's what that's what it's about. Paying
That
it
means
forward.
a lot, Andy. Same to you. I really appreciate that. And yeah, congratulations on what you've created. And I could tell the passion and the energy behind it. And that's what's most important, because I think a lot of people in our industry, they go to these conferences, you could just tell the light's not in the eyes, when you look at them, and you just can't sense the passion and the pure excitement behind the project. And that's really the most important part, and then the customer service, and then obviously the integrity of the products. But I think if that excitement's not there, there's no foundation for the company. So yeah, it's really cool to see that with what you've done. So yeah, alitura.com, and I guess we'll have a code Blackburn once this goes live. They could save a little bit.
Yeah. Code Blackburn at 20% off. And yeah, just like you said, man, it's just it's not having, I can't attest for your situation, but I mean, from looking from afar, it's just creating something and having that open kind of blank canvas of just doing what we love. I mean, I just very grateful, and yeah, man, nothing else I'd rather do. But like I said, that passion component, and just really being able to just see the people that walk the talk, and like yourself, Greenfield, everybody that we've mentioned on this, it's just yeah, we need more of that, especially right now. So it really does mean a lot to join you on this. I had a blast, dude.
Appreciate it, Andy. Same here, man. And yeah, let's keep helping people and learning and growing and creating some cool products. So stick around as we close out the show. Thanks.
All right.
That is all for today's show. After that, I was really inspired to become consistent again with my skincare routine. And if I'm going to prioritize anything, it would be the clay mask. I like Andy's recommendation of 1 to 3 times a week. I think that is a very attainable goal for most people. I think Andy's an awesome guy, and his journey is really inspiring. If you want to check out his products, you can go to alitura.com. And if you use the discount code Blackburn on any of his products, you'll save 20%. My website is matt-blackburn.com. You could read about my CLF protocol. That's basically my anti-aging program that I designed. And it's funny, since I moved here to Idaho, I got my neighbor on Dissolvidol, which are the nattokinase and serrapeptase systemic enzyme therapy. And he told me yesterday that he stopped taking it because he ran out, and he's been off of it for 2 to 3 weeks, and his aches and pains came back. And he knew that that's what it was, because that was the only product that he was being consistent with, was the Dissolvidol. So I thought that was a really cool testimony, because a lot of people bag on supplements saying that they're overpriced and they don't do anything. But really the proof is in the testimonials like that, where people stop taking them, or you can do the experiment yourself, stop taking everything and see how you fare for a couple weeks, for a couple months, for a year. Do different experiments and then add them back in and see the difference. But back to the Matt Blackburn site, if you click on shop, you can see the recommended products that I use. And one of the ones I recently added was Dojo Sweet. That is a sweetener that Chen Blossom created that's derived from the Dojo-san amachi plant, which is the cross-genus species of the wild Japanese creeping gourd vine and green tea bush. All that to say, it tastes better than stevia to most people. It's a stevia alternative. It's a sugar alternative. And I love adding that to my coffee. It's really delicious. And Mitolife.co is the website to check out the Mitolife products. And nothing new as of now since the last show, but a lot of really exciting things coming. We're getting really close to releasing the under-counter 7-stage water filtration solution. There's nothing like it on the market. This is about 2 years in the making. Be very affordable for what you get, and it's really going to rock the water filtration industry. So I can't wait to announce when that is live. If you click on wellness, you can see all of the different supplements that we provide. And if you're unsure of where to start, you can join the newsletter. Down there at the bottom, you'll see newsletter, and you can type in your email address and click sign up. And we frequently send out informative emails describing what the products do, how to use them, testimonials, and often sales. So if you want to save some cash, definitely make sure that you are subscribed to the newsletter there. And 1% of every sale actually goes to fight human trafficking via Deliver Fund. I didn't find that organization randomly. It was recommended to me by a trusted friend that personally knows the founders, because I know a lot of those companies are kind of evil entities in disguise. So I'm really glad that I found this one that was vetted through a friend of mine, and it feels really good to use some of the success of Mitolife to support an organization that's making the world a better place. So that's it. There's a new show released every Friday, commercial free. Share this with your friends. Leave a nice review on iTunes. And I'll see you guys next week. Stay supercharged.